Welcome to our final live stream episode of the Hard Rock Show for 2022. I'm Andrew.
I'm Dave. For the last time in 2022.
Yeah. Apologies being a little bit later. We just got caught behind on a few things here behind the scenes. As always, never on time anyway. You should know that about us by now. But as always, we have a lot to get through. We've got a couple of special guests here. We have both Jeffro and Thor waiting in the waiting room to join us. Both of them are here. Awesome. This is cool. They're both in there. We'll get you guys in very, very soon. We have a lot to get through, though, as always. Tonight, we're going to talk about some new music, as always, some news or opinion pieces, or whatever we've got kicking around. I'm going to do two classic album reviews to the Patreon side of things. So a classic from Yngwie Malmsteen, another one from Dream Theater. Pretty sure Dave's going to squirt on at least one of those albums.
I didn't bring the Vaseline, but it'll be fun.
We're going to do the final. We're going to pick a winner between Deep Purple and Black Sabbath. It's the Machine Head versus Volume 4 final battle for the year. We're going to rank our top 10 festive songs. I don't know. We've got heaps going on. If that's not enough, as always, we're going to be doing all the stuff. So say hi, get in the comments, and all the usual stuff that everyone gets you to do. Or actually, we're going to get you to do it. So get in the comments, say hi, all the usual stuff. We want your opinions as we go along. We'll see if we go for another 3 hours like we did last week. That was fun.
That's my Dream Theater review, man.
Yeah, well, that's not alone, actually. Yeah. All right. So before we get stuck into things, as always, details for us and our fantastic sponsors are in the description of this episode. So go and check out our details and check out our sponsors. To a big thank you to Squid Ink Screenprinting, Alt-Cvlt Rockstar Finance. Everything we do here is helped greatly by their support. So check them out, give them a like or a follow. That'd be greatly appreciated. Follow us on your preferred social. Even though this is our last live stream, we have all of our TV stuff going on, and we also still have other stuff happening online as well, including our top 10s. We're in the middle of planning that now. So that is coming this year as well. So there's always stuff to keep up with. And for your information too, there'll be links to stuff we're talking about or reference tracks or whatever else in the description as well, and we'll share them in the comments as we go through as part of this live stream. All right, I think that's about the usual preamble. That gives everyone a little rough sort of idea of what we're up for tonight. Nicole is here tonight saying howdy all, so good to see you as always. Same with Rowan, good to see you, buddy. Hopefully you're keeping well. Same with Darren saying, hey guys, cool, another one. Michael is here saying, woohoo, not late watching for once. There you go. We were late this time, so there you go. Sally's gone, hey guys, good to see you again too. Hopefully you're keeping well. Same with Dean, another regular. Hey lads, happy last week of the year. What a year. It has been a fucking year. It's been a week this week too, no matter. And Dean's going, no red wine this time, Dave.
Nope, on the white. And it's still fucking healthy, so God help us all.
Last week you got loose, man. This is going to be interesting. Vinny says, reckon I have another woke epiphany in me this evening. Let's see, Vinny. Let's see how the night rolls on. Gear is saying hello from Norway, which is awesome to see you again, buddy. Hopefully you keep well. The song is a cracker, by the way. I don't know if you saw our little thoughts on that last week, but we gave it a little mini review and we enjoyed that thoroughly. So well done on that. And Dean's asked the question, how is Gunner's Day? I've heard it was rocking. We are going to get to that. We do have a little solo segment for Dave coming up where he's going to this last one for the year is going to be basically a Dave Squid Fest. Talking about Dream Theater and Guns N' Roses in the same stream.
Yep.
We're almost guaranteed to go for almost 4 hours tonight. So
I'll guarantee. You remember a few months ago after I went to the Kiss concert, we also reviewed Appetite for Destruction that day. So I did a Kiss review and we did Appetite for Destruction. That's fucking nothing to the
Shit. This is going to be a long one. On that one, Dean says, God help us, Dave, on the wine. Yep, there we go. All righty. Let's do the quick one here. Let's do the round. So how you going, Dave? It's been a week.
Yeah, it has. It's been a very busy, eventful, tiring, but fun week. I went to see a little band on Saturday night, which I'll talk about in a little while. You might have heard of them. I'll get to it. Apart from that, kids have been busy with school. It's almost the end of the year, so they've got all different activities and end of year celebrations. I got my work Christmas party Saturday night. This is coming up Saturday night. So probably get loaded because the boss has to pay for it. So I'm going to drink as much as I fucking can.
Nice.
Apart from that, just gearing up for Christmas and the silly season. I'm just counting down the days to a holiday. Just I have a break, man. It's been a crazy, hectic year, and So apart from that, it's just busy. How you doing, man?
So yeah, same. I'm flat out. This is the week of the year where I've got to drop everything into the networks for TV over the Christmas and New Year break. So I'm flat out. I've gotten a little mini extension until Monday morning, 9 a.m. So I've gotten everything apart from like the first couple of weeks of January done. But for those paying attention at home, that will be our Priest versus Maiden over 2 weeks from 2017. That episode's getting a little bit of a rerun. But I'm just going to finish chopping that up a little bit. That's not much. That's like a half hour worth of work. But then the big one is finishing off that 6-hour New Year's Eve special we have coming up, Dave.
That's going to be fun.
That's going to be fun. So we have 6 hours. We are airing on New Year's Eve on Channel 39 in Melbourne. We've got 6 hours planned for you. So that's going to be a lot. But that's a lot of editing. So wish me luck with that over the weekend. Outside of that, work is work, family's family. Everyone's doing pretty well, except for this morning. Jody tested positive for COVID. So we're just sort of waiting and seeing how that works out in this household now. So so far, I'm feeling good, but Jody, unfortunately, is feeling pretty rotten, especially tonight. So she's already gone nice and early.
If you get it, I'm going to stay up all night and watch the New Year's Eve show just to see how fucked up the editing is.
That's going to be a good
really screws with your head, man. Yeah, so you could like do the same 2 songs over and over. It could be awesome.
6 hours of something. No, at least it works in a timeline. So if the brain fog kicks in, at least I'll have a timeline. But it's funny because Jody was trying to play Minecraft and the brain fog was fucking with her something shocking there too. So it will be interesting to see what happens. But fingers crossed. Hopefully it blows over quickly for Jody. She's a bit rotten at the moment. Hopefully it gets over with nice and quick. And then, hopefully I can dodge it. But we've done nearly 3 years without getting this thing. And it looks like this time the numbers might be up. But, oh, well, we'll see what happens. So far I've tested negative and I feel fine. So I'm going to keep my fingers crossed and hope that continues. But around that, aside from that little one that happened this morning, everything's actually pretty good. It's just that busy time of year. So just see how it all shakes out over the next little bit. I'll be looking forward to the end of the weekend, believe it or not, because I've got a lot to do. But then, next weekend there'll be nothing to do, and then it's sort of just get into Christmas, and then we're going away for a bit. So that's the plan coming up. So I'm looking forward to all that. But we've got our top 10 to do, so we'll make sure we get that done as well soon, Dave. So that's coming up. Everything's good though. So it's a bit. It sounds like a complaint, but actually everything's pretty good overall. So not much to complain about. All right, Bash is here saying, "G'day all, last day celebrations." Yes, last one for the year.
Bring up.
Vinny says Dave immediately gets the 3 votes when he's on the vino. So there we go. Darren's going to put the plastic down, Dave. A lot of that. Nicole's saying, "Oh no, poor Jody. Yeah, she's not feeling too good tonight." And then same with Rowan saying COVID. Dang, yeah, unfortunately it is that way. Dan says Guns N' Roses with kick ass in Melbourne. Thanks for joining us, and I'm sure we're going to get more in-depth thoughts on that from Dave very, very soon. Dean says, having a day job and doing all this editing, how do you do it? Always wanted to know after being a supporter for years. How do I do it? I do it by not sleeping. That's basically how it works. To try and really nut this down quickly, I work in an environment where I can listen to music at times, so that's all right. So I get to do a lot of pre-listening. Then I'll sit down and write some notes up, and then around that, I'll do my editing and also stuff for TV, and then try and get the online stuff done as well. Not always as easy, and that's why there's a lot. I know there's so much archive stuff we haven't gotten out yet, and that's just why. It's just been flat out. I haven't had the time to sit down and catch up on things. I've sort of been just chasing my tail for the last decade plus. Just okay, here's TV, here's online, here's what I've got, and go. And it just rolls on from week to week to week. And then when I do get a break, I take a break. It's kind of how it works. Yeah, that's roughly how it works. That's it in a very brief nutshell. So I'll try and get into more detail for the Patreon supporters. I might answer that question more in depth in the Patreon side of things when I get a chance. Bella says, "Hi guys, sorry to hear about Jody getting COVID. Good luck not getting it." Yeah, I'm trying to not get it. I'll see how I go, but not easy to isolate in this house here. So we'll see what happens. But hopefully you're keeping well over there, Belle. Good to see you again as always. Gear says, "I hope everyone likes the new Christmas song from us, Christmas in the North." We are liking everything we hear from you guys, so don't worry about that. Belle's gone, "Dave, where's your Santa hat? I know you got the lights on the house. Where's your hat?"
It's in the house. The kids had it last time, so it's somewhere. It's in there.
All right. Well, we know where it is.
I'll go find it later on after I've had some more wine.
Yeah, we'll do a handstand on the way out as well.
I can make that happen. Julia said since it's the last one for the year, I should be wearing a silly hat. So I told her I'd go get my Guns N' Roses bandana.
I've got that, and I've got my New Year's hat here as well. Props for filming are always good to have around.
Nothing that comes for a hat yet.
Remember the ones we had on the set where we had like the cap with the umbrella, the propeller and stuff in it? We had some silly ones. We've got a box full of old props in here. It's fucking nuts. What do we got? Dean says, hope your missus gets better soon. This thing is nasty. Yes, it is, unfortunately. She's doing okay overall, so it's not too bad. Terry's here. Good to see you, buddy. Hopefully you're keeping well. Good to see you again. Thanks for joining us. Same with Chris joining us again. Hi, all. Thank you for jumping in. Alrighty, let's get stuck. We've got a lot to get through tonight. We're going to try and fly through this as quickly as we can. So first up, as usual, we go to our songs of the week. And Dave, of course, you picked the new Steel Panther. So in the comments, in the description, there is a link for your enjoyment. It's Steel Panther 1987, the brand new single from the band from the new album coming. What is it, March or something? I think it's due, Dave. Correct me.
Something like that, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, what made you pick this one?
Well, I kind of gone off Steel Panther in recent albums. The recycled joke over and over. I mean, I like Pussy as much as the next guy, but there's only so many songs you can write about it, really. But what they do is funny. The last one was all right, Never Too Late to Get Some Pussy Tonight. That kind of got my attention, and then this one came up on Spotify. I'm like, okay, I'll give it a listen, because I kind of skipped the last stuff. But this has nothing to do with Pussy, which is surprising for Steel Panther. It's called 1987, and they just go on about all references from 1987, about the music we all grew up on, the era, the times. When you were growing your hair out for the first time, and when you're just hanging out with your mates listening to music. It's just a great fucking vibe, and they nailed it. And it's just, don't want to say I got emotional, but I'm just like, they fucking got it. It just took me back to that time where life was simpler, and they take little jabs, like there was no bullshit Snapchat, and there was no online trolls on YouTube. It was just a good time. We all hope that Dave and Eddie would get back together for Van Halen. It opens up with Appetite for Destruction was kicking their ass.
I was about to say, that's why you like it.
Historically inaccurate, though. Don't want to nitpick, but it debuted at number 98. Nobody was really paying attention until 1988. Right. But it came out in 87, and that's the time, and that's why we like it. But it's got your Steel Pantherisms. It's got some humor. The video is great. You got these two young kids going into a abandoned, dilapidated recording studio. They kind of pull back and turn on the lights and put the cable into the pedal, and then the band comes up. So really well done. Just fun.
Gave me a bit of a Ghostbusters Afterlife kind of feel for a little bit there.
Yeah, just going back to that old school stuff. And guitar solo is great. Satchel fucking nails it as always. And Michael Starr's sounding great. So I think I'm actually really keen to hear this new album. Bass player fits into the band pretty well, and drum sounds good. But the lyrics are just great. I just I had to Google them to make sure that I'm hearing everything right. Just followed along. It's one of the songs I wanted to pay good attention to. But Steel Panther 1987, great times.
Cool. I've heard some mixed feedback. Some people are loving it. Some people, especially in our crew, are like, yeah, whatever. They've done it to death now. Whatever. I'm over it. So I've seen the mixed feedback. So I checked it out for the first time today. Finally got around to it. I think it's clever. It's pretty well done, actually. When this is kind of more, I've said for a while now that I would like to see Steel Panther take on something a little more, not serious, but more social commentary again, or just something like that. And because there's this big nostalgia vibe with so many bands, so many songs doing it at the moment, it's fitting in a lot of respects. They sort of just chime in with their one as well. And if any band should do it, these guys should be the one to do it, because if their whole gimmick is just to throw back in time. But yeah, so I enjoyed it. There's that they did. I understand what you said about getting the emotional side of things, because they just hit that sweet spot just right. They've got the tongue in cheek. There's fun in the song, but they managed to just hit the right tone with it, which is very tricky to do, especially for a band like this. It's all satire or parody, or no one takes it seriously. I mean, the talent is, you can't deny the talent in the band. Like you said, the vocals, the guitar work, and everyone else is just fantastic. But the way it was written and performed, the presentation of the lyrical, journey of it was, nicely done. Very clever. I enjoyed seeing the new bass player. It's a fun little video, like you mentioned as well. I like the little, like the kids walk into the rundown studio and it's like they're watching the recording get played back, and the kid gets the chick next to him and he's like all happy and stuff. So, it's a little bit of a carry on, but it's a bit of fun. Great solo, great hook as always with these guys. You expect no less from them by now. It is very typical for the band. It doesn't feel like anything groundbreaking or new, but it is very well done. It's a little more serious than other stuff before, which I actually don't mind. I like hearing that. So it does make me very curious, because they've been on a downhill trend with the last few albums. So this one gives me a little more hope. So I'm looking forward to the album with a little bit of trepidation, but less than I was before. So take that for what it's worth out there, people. What do we got here? Dean says, has the same lyrical content as Those Days from Nickelback. Yeah, that is a song that did come to mind for me as well. When the 80s were carefree and riding bikes till the streetlights came on. I don't mind the song at all. Saw them and Airborne in October. So there you go. Steel Panther was fantastic live too.
Reminds me of Nectar with that 1989 song that they did.
Yeah, that's another one too. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, definitely. Vinny says 87 is a great anthem, almost subliminally asking you to take a deep breath and look back on happier times. That's a very good point, Vinny. You may be getting the things there going on. What else we got here? So we have Dean has got, how many years has Steel Panther done this for? Feel like they've done this forever. Now, I'm not entirely sure.
Feel the Steel was what, 2009 maybe? It's well over 15 years. They were middle school before Steel Panther, so
they were. Let's have a quick. No. I'm trying to Google and type and read and fucking live stream. It's just fucking stupid. So they started out as Metal Shop in 2000. So 20 plus years they've been at it for now. So there you go. That's where that's at. So they've been around for a little while, just a little while. Alrighty, my choice now. And this is the latest from Aussie band Nothing Sacred. So in the comments, in the description, you're going to find the new track Leviathan, which is a new video dropped today as well. I did have another one in mind before this one, but this came out just now. So I'm like, okay, this is going to be my song for the week today. Because the last album, New Gods, was the band's first album, something like 30 years. They've been around for ages before that. And they've got a new album now due out in February. And based on this song, I'm really fucking keen on the new album. So this is Nothing Sacred, Leviathan. Like I said, the new album's due in Feb. That's the title track from the album. This picks up right where that No Gods album left off. If you enjoyed that, you're going to really like this track. And if you haven't checked out No Gods, please do yourself a proverbial favor, because that was a fantastic release. There's a great hook in the guitar riff on this one. I find that one really catchy. The guitar work and the rhythm all over this is really cool. The vocals are perfect for the style. They've got that, it's got good use of melody, but there's just enough grit in there as well. Same thing with the backing vocals and the harmonizing vocals too. They really did bring a bit of extra, something to the song as well, which is really cool. I liked the groove and the swing in particular. This one really gets you moving, kind of it's weird because there's some interesting time changes, but at the same time, it flows so smoothly that it's just this would be a lot of fun to see a room go off to this song live, and I reckon it would. It'd just be great to see this one played live. It just has that, that feel to it. The guitar solo in this gives me a little bit of a King Diamond kind of a vibe here and there. I don't know if you picked up on that as well, Dave, but there's that little trill part of it, which is really cool. And I don't know, if you like Aussie metal at all and you haven't checked out this band, unfuck that, because the album is great. This single is cool, and I am keen as fuck for the new album on the basis of this one alone. Like, I know it was a new song, but as soon as I played it at lunchtime today, I'm like, oh fuck, this is a winner. I love this lead single, and if the album's anything like this, we're in for a good fucking release in February next. I think it's due Feb 3rd or something like that. So that's my thoughts on it. Dave, do you agree?
Oh, if it's due out on February 3rd, it's my birthday, so it has to be good. All the best things get released on February 3rd, so it's going to be fucking great. Yeah, this grabbed me right from the start. As soon as you added this, I was like, okay, I'm sucking on. Just like, oh, this sounds fucking good. I like this. It's that right sweet point between rock and metal. It's on the heavier side, but you can't really categorize it as one or the other, but it's just that fucking sweet spot. And it comes on, I'm thinking, is that cool heavy riff? That's really cool. And the vocals come out. It's like, I like this guy's tone. It's really interesting. And then killer guitar solo. I fucking loved it. And there's nice changes in the riffs throughout. Well structured, well performed. I was like, I really haven't heard much from this band at all. But yeah, I'll definitely be keen to give myself a birthday present and give this a listen when it comes out, because this song is amazing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, very cool.
Nice. All righty. Back to Steel Panther for a second. Nicole says, I'll listen to it a bit later, but as a rule, I cannot listen to them. I'm no prude, but I can't stand the smut. So I think this song, if you're not a Steel Panther fan, this song's pretty accessible, if that makes sense. If the lyrics normally irk you, this is a song you can listen to from these guys. What have we got here? David, good to see you. G'day, guys. Merry Rockin' Christmas. Not quite there, but it is our finale for the year, so thank you for joining us. And Darren says, not a fan of Steel Panthers. We're getting a few of them coming out here. That's all right. There are plenty that don't like them, so it is what it is in that regard. They can be pretty divisive depending on what your tastes are. Dean says, keen to see him live. Great track. Yeah, that is a good track. Glad you enjoyed it. Nicole says, nothing sacred were great back in the day. Nothing has changed. Awesome stuff. So getting more love for this one too. DB says, I counted 10 fucks within 90 seconds between you two talking. Mate, we haven't gotten started. You're taking over. Remember Wayne? Wayne. Wayne is still a part of the crew behind the scenes. He's obviously off doing other things with himself, especially with his family these days. But Wayne used to have an actual count. He had this board where he'd sit there and count the amount of fucks, shits, and everything else in between. He'd give us a rundown, a running count after every episode on TV. That was what we used to get away with on TV. And Dennis used to deliberately fuck with him by with certain reviews. Remember the fuck EP review?
Yep, from Buck Cherry.
Yeah, from Buck Cherry. That was hilarious. So yeah, we did have someone doing that. But thank you for the count, DB. If you want to take over the reins of that, by all means, go right ahead. Darren says, more of Nothing Sacred. Fantastic. Yes, they are a great band doing great things. But Mel says, love Steel Panther's music, hate the lyrics, so no Panther albums in this house. There you go. It is one of those things. They're a talented band, but the story or the subject matter can be a little bit annoying to quite a few people.
It makes me wonder, they could be huge if they were serious lyrical content, but then they wouldn't be as infamous and we wouldn't know.
Yeah.
That's one of those catch-22s. I mean, what do they do? They stood out from the pack by doing what they do. And they're fantastic musicians. If they couldn't back it up with their talent, it'd just be bad. Yeah. But it's clever and it works well.
It's one of those things, isn't it? It's a chicken or egg kind of thing. It's interesting debate with that band. But I've seen them a few times. I think they're fantastic personally. But
they're awesome live. Seen them twice.
Live. Even Nikki. Nikki is one of our guys that cannot stand this sort of music, and she doesn't like Steel Panther. But she went and saw him live and got converted. So it can have that effect if you do go and see them live. What do we got here? Vinny says, I think it's a great listen, especially if you've already wiped your ass and find yourself still scrolling. So Vinny's on fire already. Jeff's in the comments, even though he's in the waiting room. He's going, Panther is a cringe lyrically, but they are good at what they do. Very true. And Rod Lee says, Steel Panther, the joke's worn thin, and yes, nothing sacred slay. So there we go. Here we go. TC, good to see you, buddy. Hopefully you're keeping well there. He's gone, hi, guys. Nothing sacred or awesome. Steel Panther are boring as shit now. The novelty is all over. And that's the argument we have all the time now with these guys. Like I said, they have been on a downhill slide for me, so we'll see how the new album goes. These two albums next year, relatively close together, that's actually going to be really interesting to see how that sort of shakes out coming up. What? Dean says Leviathan supporting Frankenbach can hear. Yeah, you can hear that song with a Frankenbach support. That would be very, very nice indeed. All righty. Let's do this, Dave. Let's put you into solo view.
All right.
And then you can sort of blow your load. You ready to go?
First load for the night.
All right, yeah, first load. Go on.
Hey. All right. So Saturday night, I went and saw this band called Guns N' Roses. Now, you might not know it about me, but I'm a bit of a fan. Okay, you might have heard me mention them once or twice.
Just look at your fucking room. And your shirt.
Oh, shit, where did that come from? What the fuck? What am I wearing? Rightio. So it's my second time seeing this lineup, and I have to say it's a completely different experience. Both times they played for 3 hours, and obviously they were going to play all the hits, but this time around they actually played more songs. It was strange. I compared the set list from both, and they included different covers this time, and there was a lot more extended solos. Slash is fucking god. They opened the show with It's So Easy and Mr. Brownstone. Great double from Appetite for Destruction and a great way to open the show. Kind of takes you back to Live at the Ritz, if you're that old, like I am. For all the time that's passed and all the issues that they've been through, they look healthy and they're full of energy. They sound great. It's easy to forget that they're in their early 60s. How the fuck did that happen? They played more songs from Appetite for Destruction at various points throughout the set. And they surround them with songs from Use Your Illusion and Chinese Democracy. Can't forget that album because it's fucking good. The songs from Appetite, they get massive pops from the audience, but there's also plenty of songs from Illusions that get that same reaction as well. You know, you're going to get personal favorites like November Rain and The Strange. The crowd just goes nuts for that. I wasn't expecting the vibe on Civil War when they played out the whole place. The whole place was singing along. I thought that was fucking beautiful.
Cool.
It was cool to hear Reckless Life and Shadow of Your Love live. They didn't play them last time. They're straight up fun rock songs, you know, much like the new release Hard School. Not every song has to be an epic like Paradise City or November Rain. Just one of the things I love about this band, every song is unique, and just hearing Reckless Life, the opening for GNR Lives back in the day. Fucking yeah. Shadow of Your Love is fucking amazing live too. Now, Estranged has been one of my favorite songs, not just from Guns N' Roses, but one of my all-time favorite songs for decades. And I've heard them do it live a couple of times now, because I saw the Axl Rose Chinese Democracy fronted version back in 2013 and seen this lineup twice. And every time I hear it, it's just a special moment in the show for me. Made me wonder though, how does Axl feel performing a deeply personal song like this 30 years after the fact? And it's like, takes me back to when David Bowie was performing Ashes to Ashes on the Reality Tour. That's a pretty dark song. And when he was performing that on the Reality Tour, he was happy, he was smiling. So all these words that meant a lot to people back in the day, they can just get up there and do it for the audience because they know the audience wants it. But I wonder how life changes and people look back on the stuff that they performed. Anyway, moving on. You Could Be Mine. Fantastic. And that's when we had the Spotlight incident. So I'm sure people heard about that. And Axl stopped just after the first chorus. And I actually was filming because, hey, She Could Be Mine. It's fucking hilarious that I got this on film. And it's like, this is for the Spotlight guy. I don't know what your deal is, but I've asked you to turn it off 10 times. I want to perform for the people and I don't want to be blind. Fair enough, cool. People say he got angry. It was more like a request. He didn't seem pissed off at all. It's just like, this needs to be done. And it's a reasonable response. If you have, I got a fucking spotlight on me at the moment with this ring, and it can blind you if you have it up too high. Those massive lights that come up on the stage, they can't be good for you. So you don't want to fuck up a whole show just because the singer can't see and he's going to fall off the stage. There's plenty of videos on YouTube of Axl falling over. You don't want that shit to happen. But as far as the audience response went, everyone found it funny, at least in my area. We all found it cool. And I'm actually happy that I got to be at a Guns N' Roses show where Axl stopped the show. It's just one of those things that it's kind of synonymous with the Guns N' Roses experience now. But it's a shame in a way because everyone's talking about that. And You Could Be Mine was fucking amazing. That was an amazing performance. Axl sounded really cool on that. As I mentioned, we got more songs this time than previous. Reckless Life and Shadow of Your Love. They did Patience this time. They didn't play it last time. It's like, fuck.
Nice.
So cool. So cool to hear that song.
Nice.
And the new songs, Absurd and Hard School. Now, I like both those songs. I liked them when they came out, but Absurd live is a new fucking level. That song is amazing. And Flash is what makes that song cool because he's really enjoying himself playing it. He's jumping up and down. He's just rocking out. The solos are much better. Axl sounds great on that. And Axl doesn't talk much in between songs. In fact, he doesn't talk at all. He introduced the band at one point, and he said hi to the audience and said, "You all look lovely." And that's pretty much it. At the start of Absurd, he says, "Let's keep the love songs happening." I got a laugh out of that because I know the lyrics. I think I might have been the only person in the whole stadium that did. It's absurd. That's the funny thing about it. It's ironic. Now we didn't get Angus Young this time. Last time we had a special appearance from Angus. They did play Whole Lot of Love, Whole Lot of Rosie this time. No riff raff, but just Whole Lot of Rosie. Cool. And they covered Sliver. And I think this is cool because it's kind of after all this time we know the band's history, and it's cool that we get Sliver. We know Duff and Slash had their moment in the Velvet Revolver. Axl sounds really good in that song as well.
Just going to jump in. Did that work? Did that really work?
It did. I mean, there's a couple of Velvet Revolver songs I'd love to hear Axl sing, but maybe they wouldn't fit his range. But Sliver is a great choice. It's so easy tone, that whole darker one. Yeah, and the whole hey, that's definitely an Axl thing. But it's just it was a cool part. It was very cool. Nice. And when you see when they do Chinese Democracy songs, it's cool to hear them bring Duff and Slash's interpretations into that. And Duff did I Want to Be Your Dog, the Old Stooges song. Last time he did Attitude. So I Want to Be Your Dog, that should have been on Spaghetti Incident. That's a fucking cool cover. I'll be honest, Axl was struggling at times. Age comes to everyone. He wasn't horrible, but there were times when he was trying to hit a high note, and it might have been, and he was changing styles. Where in Better, I think it was, he'd switched to harsh and then clean, and it's just like, I don't know if the song's going to be set much longer. That was a little bit of I'm not sure what you're doing, man. I'm not sure what you're going for there. But tender moments like Patience and Don't Cry, he sounded fucking brilliant. It sounded like he was 21 again. No one, even Slash doesn't talk to the crowd anymore. Back in the day, they used to have a lot of interaction, but I think they're not stupid. They know that we're living in social media times these days, and the less said, the better, because people get misquoted. And best to just get up there, play the songs, and let the music do the talking. There's a Kiss reference for you, or an Aerosmith reference. Well, then we're getting old. Slash was fucking amazing. The guy just gets better with age. You know, as a music fan and a fan of the guitar, I was in complete awe of his playing all night. He's playing, his stage presence, his image, solos, extended solos, jams. The guy's just one of the all-time greats. He covered Machine Gun from Hendrix. And he usually just does Voodoo Child, but it's cool to hear Machine Gun. It's just a nice moment of him keeping his influences alive for a whole new generation to hear. Because there were a lot of young kids there with their parents as well, much like the Kiss concert. Probably the Kiss concert, they were bringing toddlers and babies. It was insane. Yeah, well. But this is like 9, 10. But yeah, it was cool to see families and just kind of not just Guns N' Roses, but music history there. It was one of those special moments because bands like this are not going to reach the level that they are. But another favorite of mine is Double Talk and Jive. I love that end solo from Slash. Just a fucking cool song. And that extended solo at the end is just one of those cool moments. Another cool moment for the extended solos was Rocket Queen. Now, if you've seen Slash live, even in his solo stuff, when he does that with Miles Kennedy, it's always a jam time. And this was just something else completely different entirely. He's playing fast, but he makes it look effortless. And he's working his way slowly up the neck, playing fast, and then just shifting it. Gets to that highest note, and he's bending. I'm like, okay, most solos end with that high note bend. But then he brings it back. He starts going back up the neck. Like, fuck, that's clever. Because it doesn't get boring. He's got complete control over what he's done. It's never forced. It's just effortless. And the guy's fucking God. Now, Knocking on Heaven's Door, that went down really well with the crowd. It was an extended solo in that, too. Cool. And they did that whole knocking on Heaven's Door. The crowd sings it back. Yeah. But they did it without being introduced. Axl, there's a solo. Axl comes out, does it. Crowd sings it. And then I think it threw a few people in my section because then they solo again, and then Axl comes out a few minutes later and does it again. I'm like, okay, they're going to do this 4 times, and they did, but there's long solos in between that. And like I said, Axl's not talking. People kind of know that this is a sing-along one. Yeah. Okay. Chinese Democracy songs. I know I'm going on and on. I'm sorry. Julia's probably typing into the comments. Shut the fuck up, Dave. You've been talking about this all week. Sorry, babe. This is my last time and I'm done. But yeah, Chinese Democracy. I fucking love hearing Slash play these songs. He's made them his own. They did the title track. They did Better and Sorry. This is the first time they did Sorry in Melbourne. Last time they did This I Love. It's cool to hear Sorry. I love that song. But Better had a new intro from Slash and Richard Fortius. I thought, okay, I kind of know the set list because they do the same thing all the time. But, like, okay, what's this? This is cool. Is this a jam? And then it leads in to Better. I'm like, this is cool. I would love a live album from this show and the previous one, not this lifetime tour. But yeah, fuck, it's just cool to hear these different interpretations of what they've done. And you can't hear it. It's on YouTube, but I would love an official release. But sadly, Chinese Democracy songs, along with Hard School and Absurd, seem to be moments when people go for a piss or to the bar. And Chinese Democracy was the 3rd song on the set, and there's people walking out. Not enough that like the fucking mass exodus or anything. There's still lots of people there, but there's enough to notice there's people heading. Like, it's the 3rd song, people, for Christ's sakes. Fucking Chinese Democracy is awesome. But it's just pisses me off because people say, I want new music, fucking lazy millionaires, they're not going to release anything. They give you new music and you go to the fucking bar. Jesus Christ. Yeah, as I said, Absurd live is much, much better than the recording. I think it's kind of, the recording is hampered because they kept the original vocals from back in the day, which had Chinese Democracy production. So to hear it new, just this whole new performance is great. Now, guitarist Richard Fortius and drummer Frank Ferrer. Last time I saw Guns N' Roses, it was the actual Slash and Duff show for me personally. Just having those 3 guys back on stage. They just happened to have other people on stage with them. This time around, I became fans of both these guys. I've overlooked them for far too long, but there was great chemistry between this whole band. Richard Fortius is fucking great. He's a great accompaniment to Slash. He can play the hell out of some solos when he needs to. And the sweep picking in Better, he handles that shit. I don't think Slash is a sweep picker, so it's cool that you got strengths and weaknesses on both sides. And fucking Frank Ferrer is a hell of a drummer. He's got a lot of swing, a lot of groove, and he hits hard. He can play Adler songs, he can play Sorum songs. It's got great chemistry between the whole band. There was a nice moment towards the end of the show where before Patience, they had Slash, Richard, and Duff just sitting on the steps of the drum riser, and they're playing Blackbird from the Beatles. That was really, really cool. I know Blackbird, but I haven't really paid attention to it. I tried to learn that a couple of days afterwards because that song's amazing, and just that those three guys are sitting down playing some music together. Dizzy Reed, overlooked, seriously overlooked, and one guy apart from Axl that's been with the band the longest. He just holds those moments when he needs to. Melissa Reese, why? What does she do? Like fucking a third of Slipknot, she's unnecessary. I don't want to. There's nothing wrong with her personally, but she pops up on the screen like 6 songs in for the first time, and people around me are like, "Who the fuck is that?" I have no idea. It was weird seeing a strange person. I'm sure she's great at what she does, but I don't know why she's there, because you can't hear anything that she does.
Wow.
There's already a keyboard player there. She's touching some shit. I don't know what she's doing. Maybe, I don't know. Axl's illegitimate daughter, maybe? I don't know. Instead of paying alimony back payments for her, she can come on tour with us. You can get up on stage. I'm sorry I was a bad dad. It's rock and roll. But yeah.
Keep that white wine going, Dave.
Oh, man. It was an amazing 3 hours, and it came to a bittersweet end with Paradise City. I've heard that song millions of times, never gotten old, but in the live environment, it's just one of those special moments. Everyone knows the words, everyone gets out there. Axl did not throw the whistle. He pulled the whistle out, but threw it back towards the stage. Looked a bit annoyed, to be honest. I could have been reading that wrong, but obviously no microphone was thrown. Now, Richard and Slash did throw some guitar picks out. I wasn't close enough to the stage to see if they were covered in bubble wrap. You can't be too careful these days. Somebody might lose an eye and complain all over social media.
Or cut themselves on the head like you did.
Hey, I fucking bladed myself with a pick live on this show, so anything's possible. But picks, microphones, all dangerous. But like so many live events in my 30-something years of being a fan of this band, this band's been a soundtrack to my life. And the last time I saw them, I was with my wife. This time around, I was with my old mate from primary school days. We went through primary school and high school together, and he's the reason I discovered this band. So it was cool that I got to see this band with him and his grown-up daughter. So that was cool. Next time, Jade wants to go. So I really hope like hell this band comes back, because I would love to share this with my kids. And be just, I can't think of anything else that would make this just fucking perfect. No, I was too far back to get a decent photo. But at the end, when they're taking a bow, they're on the big screen. I'm just clicking. And when I got home, I found a really cool picture of Axl, Slash, and Duff, just the 3 of them up there, and they're all smiling, they're all happy. That's become my Facebook banner for the moment. Yeah, just a special moment. The world righted itself about 6 years ago when they got back together. At the end, like Axl does at every Australian show, he comes out and does one of the rare times he does speak to the audience. Simple. Aussie, Aussie, Aussie! The whole band and the whole crowd goes, oi, oi, oi! It's just fucking fun. I feel like I missed something, but I'm going to shut the fuck up. I knew I was only getting a chance to review this live concert once. Sorry if I spoke too long and took up too much time, but it's Guns N' Roses. You're going to get this shit from me.
You done now? You blew your load?
Done.
Yeah? One load. There's a comment coming through that I'm going to get to. Which will be interesting. And it's one of our own, so this will be interesting.
I got to recover quickly because Dream Theater's coming up.
I know. You get yourself a breath while I go through some comments here. I can see Conrad in the waiting room just going, oh my God. All right. Back to Steel Panther for a second here. Nicole said, seeing them live won't change my mind. Slipknot are awesome live, but I still don't listen to them. There you go. That's actually a good point. Well done. I'll pay that. Tom, when Dave started this review, was like Guns and Who. So yeah. DB asked the question, did you see a microphone fly over your head, Dave? I think you answered that one. There was no microphone.
Unfortunately not. I would have tried to catch it with my face.
Yeah.
That would have been a badge of honor. It wouldn't be something like, oh, actually hit me in the face with a
I would
microphone.
have loved if you'd have managed to do that and get it on film. That would have been fucking priceless. That would be like meme-worthy stuff for days. Dean asked,
You know what I want to have it? You know that Simpsons moment? Hans Moleman presents man getting hit by football. I want a fucking Axl Rose Productions presents woman getting hit by microphone.
There is footage of that, isn't there now?
Oh, there's got to be. It's not very clear. You don't get the impact, but as soon as somebody gets the impact, got to make one of those videos.
Yeah. You saw the one from the AFL, yeah, where the kid got hit square in the face?
Rory saw that and he keeps laughing and laughing. You really had to have a conversation with him. Somebody actually got hurt. I know your father likes to laugh at these things, but somebody got hurt.
Oh, wow. Father of the year right there, Dave. All right, moving on a bit. Dean asked, do you know how many people went to Gunners at the G? I have no idea. Dave, was it
not this time? No, last time it was over 73,000. There were less people on the floor this time, at least from my angle. But yeah, I'd estimate maybe 65. It was less than last time, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
It was still packed though. There were heaps of people.
Ben's going, I heard Slash Mimes guitar these days.
Must be a Noel Gulliver fan. He claims he's a better guitarist than Slash.
No, here we go.
Recent interview, apparently he says, I'm a better guitar player than Slash.
Oh, man.
Fucking delusional.
I don't even care about that sort of stuff, honestly. It's clickbait bullshit. Dean says, I saw the footage of Axl talking to the lighting crew. He had a point 100%. They are very blinding indeed. I'll definitely see Slash when he comes out with Miles and the Conspirators. Slash with Miles and Co. is a great show, no matter what time you see them. They're always good. This is the comment I was referencing earlier. TC says, a Guns N' Roses concert review on the same night as a Dream Theater review. This could be a very long stream. It could be. That's why I'm trying to move through things relatively.
We're just going to get some Nightwish in here, man.
No fucking way. And Dean says, well, they played Patience. I remember that they didn't play that last tour. I went to the last tour when Angus came out and I lost it. Yeah, that would have been good for you, especially.
I think there's a bigger fan than me because the guy behind me was losing his shit when they started playing Patience. I mean, like literally jumping up and down. I'm like, fuck, dude, settle down.
You said that or thought that?
I thought that, yeah. Fuck, dude. Shut the fuck up and listen to the song.
He must have been going off for you. Wow. Dude. You should have videoed that. Someone going off to that.
I just want a video.
It's for TV. Dean says, do you think after seeing him again, is an album and another world tour in the works with this lineup? Dave, you're more in the know.
They'll keep touring. No doubt they'll keep touring. And according to Slash, they've got songs that are leftover demos from Chinese Democracy that they worked on over the lockdown, which having the Chinese Democracy leftover demos in my possession, there is some interesting stuff that would be cool.
Okay.
As far as a new album, I don't know. I'd love to hear something from this lineup. I think it would be great. But as time goes on, I think the ship might have sailed.
They don't need to do it. That's the thing.
They really don't. They really don't. Because they could release Appetite for Destruction now, and people would say, they've only got one good album. It was 30 fucking years ago. So whatever they do, there's always going to be the naysayers. But I'd love to hear new music from them, even if it's just enhanced demos from Chinese Democracy.
Yeah.
But they'll definitely keep touring. They'll keep touring until they can't do it anymore. There's no reason not to.
I'll have to make sure I go out and see him next time around.
Like I said, I mean, Axl's voice was better last time, but I think the show was better this time round.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. All right. Rowan's piped in with Slash doesn't sweep, noob. Okay, Rowan, do you? Vinny says, people walking out early at a Guns N' Roses gig are usually spooked by a current affair. Well, there we go. They didn't get the lawsuit they wanted. What do we got here? Basher says, great concert review and passion, Dave. Live music. How does it get better? No, it's a good feeling, that one.
Amazing.
Dean says, I heard he wasn't throwing the mic anymore after doing it for 30 years because someone got hurt. Are we serious? Yes, very. He released a statement saying he wasn't going to do it anymore. So that's a done deal. Yeah, I don't like it, but it is what it is. Mal says, great review, Dave. Good depth of the show and what went on. Lots to agree and disagree with, e.g. the acoustics at Adelaide Oval are deplorable. Well, there we go. The bigger venues do tend to struggle with sound, so that's an unfortunate...
Depends on your spot. If you're lucky enough to get a good spot, it could be a good night. If you're in a bad spot, it sucks.
Then it's harder. More love for you, Dave. The passion you have for them, mate, is how I am with AC/DC and Airborne. Love how people are passionate about their favourite bands. Don't say sorry about speaking too much. The passion is fantastic. So there we go.
No. Thanks, mate.
You're giving him license to go longer now. Finney says, you'd hope they'd attach a GoPro to a microphone just before it gets launched. That would be gold. That would be gold.
Bitch cam.
Here we go. This is going to be a long night. Chris says here tonight, and he said, I caught Lost Drumstick in Sydney first. Anything catch my life. Nice. Well done. Enjoy it. Turned around, saw a special needs guy and his dad behind me, gave them the stick, pay it forward and all that. Man, that is a lovely gesture.
Beautiful.
Lovely gesture. Well done. Good stuff. That's just being a good human. Well done. Good for you. Nicole says, luckily I'm an hour behind. Yeah, you're going to need that extra hour. Bill says, awesome review. Thanks, Dave. Almost like I was there. Nice. Oh, here we go. Good question. Michael, Axl's range 2017 as compared to 2022. What do you think, Dave?
There were moments where Axl would hold a note, like in Paradise City, in the home part, and he'd fucking nail it. There were other times just in general verses where he would not quite make it. But what really impressed the hell out of me when they did the Not in This Lifetime tour, those first couple of shows, and I think it stunned the world, it shut the fuck up all the naysayers, is that if you go back to the Appetite for Democracy DVD that they did just before that previous lineup fell apart, he was rephrasing everything. And I thought, okay, he's just altering it for his age, accommodating for what he can do. And I don't know what the hell he did to get in shape, but he was nailing everything previous time. So it's a little bit disappointing that age is catching up like it does, but it's not horrible. He's not fried yet. He's not what he was 30 years ago, but he can still go, and he can go for 3 hours, which is amazing because not many people in their early 60s can. Yeah, so, that's true. Yeah, for I'll focus on what it was rather than what it wasn't, and it was certainly a great performance for what it was.
Nice, well put, man. Well put. Rowan says, yes, I sweep. No leaves on my footpath. Well done. Well played, sir. Dean says, whatever they do, people still go to see them and sell out. They are playing Hyde Park mid next year, which is fucking huge area. Remember going past Hyde Park years ago. That's going to be a cool one. What do we got? Dean also says, outside gigs are hard with wind and rain, especially. Wind can be a great gig. Great or shit.
It was fucking great to have a nice hot day in Melbourne because we've had shit weather so long leading up. It was just like 30-something degrees. It was just perfect weather for an outside concert.
Okay. Yeah, no, it is tough to get the weather right. Unfortunately, wind especially does when it carries sound away. It makes things shit. But having nice weather, a good clear day, that's when it works. That's when it works the best. So I'm going back and forth. Conrad, it's going to be easy for me to speak to you whenever you get this one. He's just saying there's some delay going through. We'll just work it out as we go along. Hopefully it sort of smooths out for you a bit as we get through it. Not Conrad, sorry, Jeff. Not Conrad, Jeff. Oh my God. I'm told you. I'm doing fucking 5 things at a time. I'm sorry. And it's not a good day for me. It's just like, okay, last one for the year. Jeff was saying that, not Conrad. Because there's a chat here. There's comments going on. There's you and I talking at the same time. I've got my notes here as well. I was like, fuck. What do we got here? Chris says, shit, sorry, my comment was totally irrelevant coming halfway through and thought it was a bit about throwing something in the crowd. No, it wasn't. Share anything you want. I love that. Was a great touch,
yeah.
I'm glad you shared that. Don't be like that. I thought that was really good.
Yeah.
DB asked, did they do Dead Horse? Did they do
No, they have done it once or twice in the last 6 years. There was a post recently on the Guns N' Roses fan page I'm on about what rare songs they've played. And Dead Horse they have played, so fine. Locomotive a couple of times, but no. I would love to hear Dead Horse. I'd fucking adore that song. So good.
That is a good one. Dean says, who are Gunners signed with these days? I don't think it's Slash is with Gibson. I don't think Guns N' Roses are with Gibson. That'd be much bigger news.
No. I don't know if they're still with Geffen Records. I got no idea. Uzi Suicide.
Yeah, I don't know. Not
Independent,
sure.
go
They
on.
don't need the label anymore anyway. They're big enough. They don't need it.
Yeah. Probably Universal. I think Universal did the box set of Use Your Illusion.
That's probably who they're with then. Yeah, if that's the case. Yeah.
I think they bought Geffen Records anyway. Fucking the big ones are buying all the smaller ones.
Yeah. Vinny's chimed in with, I enjoy my wind being carried. My missus, however, not so much. And Michael says that band always going to be wow. Was Duff as tight as he's always been at the back of on the back of the beat that always set him apart from many others in the same genre. So yeah, was he in that pocket that he has a unique way of doing things?
Duff just held the backbone with Frank Ferrer for the whole night. And when he gets to do his solo song, just I Want to Be Your Dog, to give Axl a break, it's just, hey, motherfuckers, how are you? And it's just, this is Duff. He's just a reliable guy.
Yeah.
He does his job. He gets up there and he's having fun. You can tell that they're all enjoying themselves. But yeah, Duff's the man.
He's very solid. Whatever project he's in, he is very, very solid. If it's, Velvet Revolver or Guns N' Roses, or even seeing him solo, like I forget that, I don't think it's solo.
Loaded? Duff McKagan's Loaded?
Yeah, Duff McKagan's Loaded. Yeah, that's a good one as well. So he's always been good, whatever he's been doing, and he always does have that unique way of playing, which is always, nice to get the one when it sort of stands out. I haven't seen Guns N' Roses per se, but I've seen the other ones. So I can vouch for him being very good at what he does live. Alrighty. That's that one. Now into the hard rock happenings, the news side of things quickly, and I'll do a quick gig plug, then we'll do a few other bits and pieces, and we'll get the guests in not too far away. But Dave, you found an interesting article this week from Devin Townsend. So give us your thoughts and what this is.
Yeah, this came up on the ultimateguitar.com site that I follow, because it's a great website with lots of tabs and everything. But Devin Townsend's talking about trying to book tours after COVID. And lots of tours are happening and everything, and people saying that, it's all back and everything. But the dark side is that it's kind of getting worse and harder for musicians to book these things. Recently, Anthrax had to cancel part of their tour because it's just not financially viable for them. He goes into a little bit more detail about saying that, you got world inflation, cost of gasoline and diesel, and it's you have to really think about where and when you're touring and if it's going to be viable to do this. So I'm just hearing, because everyone knows, well, people in the rock world will know Devin Townsend. He's not like Guns N' Roses. Guns N' Roses are like a guaranteed draw, so they can go out on tour. But for people who have established a name for themselves, but are still kind of an independent musician, to be able to go out and perform, you can't just do it because you love it. You have to be able to get some coin back, at least break even. Yeah. Otherwise, it's really, really tough. So it's just one of the many smaller bands that are finding it hard. I mean, Anthrax aren't a small band, but they had to pull a tour recently. So we're seeing more and more musicians talk about this. And
which I think is important. We had another venue, another band call out another venue for taking a cut of the merch as well, which gets mentioned in the article. He
does mention that. What was it? I can't find it right now. But even the bigger venues like Rod Laver and everything, they get a percentage of the band's cut. But that's okay for a massive band, but a smaller band where they're watching every penny that they spend makes it harder for them to actually be able to go out on tour. And the alternative is just record music and release it, but you're not making any coin for that either. So, everyone that I know that's in the band also has a day job, and you would love to do your band full time, but your day job requires more and more time, energy, and money, which draws away from your creative side. And as you get older, it gets harder and harder to try and balance everything. Sooner or later, the day job will win, which is bad. But in the state of the world we are now, post-pandemic, with inflation and rates and everything, I'm not sure how the smaller level is going to get. Certainly not going to get to that next level, but how you're going to stay at the level you're at. So it's good that more and more musicians are talking about this. So I thought it'd be interesting to bring it up and let people know what's happening.
I think I love the open or the more transparent approach that's being taken in this sort of stuff now. I'm all for it. The more we know as consumers, the better off. Now, that doesn't mean consumers are going to care, but it's just good to have the information out there. Now, for mine, it's funny that Devin Townsend, whilst he's not, a household name. He's far from small fish in a big pond either. He's done pretty well over the years between Strapping Young Lad and everything else he's done. I've seen him play the Forum to a packed fucking room, and I've seen him play Whole Lotta Love as an acoustic solo show. Both were equally stunning. He's a fucking amazing individual, and picking his brain is just something else. But it's it makes me wonder now if the goal of touring. It used to, like, we had this thing where when streaming come in, everyone's going, oh, they'll make the money back on the tours. That's okay. But now with all the things you're talking about, like inflation and everything else going on, and just the costs going up and the pool of, talent being diminished and so on and so forth because of the post-COVID world we're in now, I wonder if the goal for touring is now more just to break even, which is a big shift. And what that's going to do is, that feeds into how the cycle works. That's going to be interesting. Like, he also mentioned the loss of venues. Now, we've seen that here as well. We've lost a few venues along the way. So it all becomes a lot harder logistically because there's less staff, less places to play, and it all costs more. So, and, even Anthrax, when they did their thing, they were saying they were happy to play at a loss, just not that big of a loss. And that's where it starts to bite into things. And when you got venues taking a cut out of the merch, which I don't understand when they get the bar, it all becomes very hard, very quick. So that's why we actually had a conversation on one of our deep cuts about the monopolization of things, which makes it even harder again. A lot of things are controlled by bigger conglomerates. So it all gets a bit trickier. And so you wonder now what's next for the artist, because it was a thing for a while where, the music might not make any money, but the tours will. But now the tours aren't doing it either. So if everything's on streaming, and I love streaming, but I understand the plight of the artist, but now you can't do it via touring. It's just enough to break even kind of thing. If that's the goal, then what's the next avenue? And that's just, the whole Bandcamp Friday kind of thing where everyone goes and buys something direct from the artist. I think we're going to be seeing a lot more of that. And that's just where it's going to be for a while. I think the record label is going to lose more and more power to this too, because what can they do for the artist, which they can't do for themselves? And if the touring isn't going to work, well, then it's one less option. So it'll be interesting to see what happens over the next sort of few years. Once things settle down, hopefully it'll get a bit better. But, who knows how long it's going to take, because interesting times in the financial world at the moment. So we'll see what happens. But, yeah, it is a lot of food for thought, and just as a reminder that if you like an artist, support them however you can, because like you said, Dave, otherwise a day job will win and we'll get less art. So support them directly wherever you possibly can. What do we got here? Nicole says Metallica are charging US $400 for a shitty seat gig in America. I haven't heard about that. I don't know. That's bizarre. I can't imagine them getting away with that here, but we'll see what happens.
I think that's for the 2 shows though, because they're doing the double night and different set lists each night.
Okay. You know more about it than I do, so we'll go with that. What it is. What do we got here? Mel says, having said how hard it is to tour these days, and I agree, we get Norway's Wigwam going Australia-wide. We do get some interesting choices coming out. I don't know how it all works behind the scenes, but we do get some interesting ones out there. Roland says, kind of scary that even someone like Devin Townsend is struggling to figure out how to earn a living, and that's where he's done the Patreon side of things and that as well. We've done it as well, but yeah, he's done that side of things just to try and make it all work. He's also said Devin has also talked about losing his love of heavy singing, but acknowledges that his fan base wants that music from him. He's balancing a lot of things, it seems. The new album is definitely more on the softer side, but I loved it. I personally loved it. I like what he does. Vinny says, hard to disagree with those points. Signs are looking like we're heading for a recession, although Australia is in a better position than most countries, believe it or not. Time to really get behind local artists. And that last sentiment there, I couldn't agree with more. I'm not all up to speed with the financial world. I leave the bills and everything that we have to my better at dealing with things wife than I am, because I exist in chaos where she's organized. So, yeah, it is an interesting time. I do know that. And, Dave, you feel the things like the rates and all that sort of stuff much more than I do. So, it is a real thing. So, if you can, support the artist. It's a squeeze right now. And Basher says, it's tough being a professional musician, especially not the famous bands. They work hard, deserve to be rewarded. I completely agree. That's why we do what we do here, to try and shine a light on some things. My news is something carried over from last week. We are going to be a long one here tonight. It is the last one for the year, so apologies. But I just wanted to touch on last week. We didn't get to it, but this week, the police helicopter looks like it's having a fucking fit outside. That is fucking bizarre. Just doesn't sound right. If it crashes and I die, well, it's been nice knowing you all. So,
There's some crazy person live streaming over social media. Let's get him.
That will be interesting. The moment it freezes when the house blows up, it'll be like the end of the goodies. So
like that moment in that movie The Stand from Stephen King where the chick's on the radio and the army's trying to fuck them. They're trying to violate free speech. I refuse.
But anyway, my topic of conversation for this week is all to do with the Spotify Wrapped kind of thing. And yes, I know that streaming isn't great for artists. I do fully appreciate that. I've seen the meme that goes around where after the lineup thing was announced, where like that game was being played, where they've changed all the band names with like, don't forget, Spotify gives X amount to artists while the CEOs make this much of a coin. I understand all those points. I do completely get it, but I understand this. Generally speaking, most music listeners tend to not give a fuck. That's just all the individual wants is to be able to listen to the music they want and to be able to share things when and where and how they can. So I understand that frustration. I do sympathize with it completely. I know that it's tough out there, but for me, it's more about when it comes to the Spotify Wrapped and to the festival thing that was going on. Actually, it was really fun to do those sorts of things and see what will come up as your festival playlist and all sorts of stuff. I think it's what Spotify does in the social world is fun for the consumer. I get that it's not great for the artist. I completely understand that. But as a consumer, you'd be hard pressed to go past it just for listening experience and seeing how things go. Unless you're a complete audiophile or a complete, absolute nut when it comes to how much you want to support your music. The average person, the person who listens to radio, Spotify is going to beat radio at some point eventually if it hasn't already. And so for me, I just wanted to say on that, it's more of a rant. It's just like, if people are enjoying themselves, I find it funny that people are sharing their Wrapped or sharing those festivals and people are going, fuck them and just shitting on it. It's like, it's fun at the end of the day. Like that's what music and things that bring you joy are meant to be. I understand the financial side, but if it brings people joy, that's something, which is more than a lot of things are, especially these days. So it's just sort of, I know that I'm going to harp on it. But yeah, like I said, I know that it's not the artists. I feel their pain, but at the same time, we're discussing that, music sales aren't great. Live sales aren't helping. Time to diversify and do more if you can. Unfortunately, that's the way the real world is at this time. It would be great if it was more equal than that. But in the meantime, until we get to a more equal point, or we get things like universal basic income, so you can be an artist if you want to. If we can get to that point, great. They're more societal problems. But in the meantime, just like to see that we, just enjoy the fun side of things and not shit on it so much as we do. But I don't know. That's my thoughts on it. What about you, Dave?
Yeah, I'm very similar. I held out for a lot longer than most of my friends. I didn't like the whole idea of streaming. I kept buying CDs for as long as possible. Even when I got onto streaming, I would still buy CDs. But cost of living increases. I can't do what I used to. But I could still discover so many new bands through Spotify and other streaming services. But I wish it was different. But I can't change the way of the world. It's like when your beer is spilt from the bottle and it's all over the floor and you're trying to spoon it back into the bottle and the bottle is actually smashed. You're not going to change the world. All I can do is live in it. And while I can't make the world a better place, I can certainly find a hell of a lot more bands than I have ever found before, because you jump on the one song and then you have song radio. And even today was the Leviathan song that you had on. Songs based off that. So I found some cool songs and cool bands from that. So it's never-ending discovery. But as far as the end-of-year Wrapped goes, it's just fascinating to see what I've listened to. What's my top song?
Also, how much time we spend on it too.
Mine was over 86,000 hours. I'm just like, okay, cool.
Yeah, mine was 70 something. But I did all the.
And when we did the festival thing, there was different options. It was like the last 3 months, and then the first one was 3 months. I'm looking through it, like that's cool. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Kiss headlining Guns N' Roses second. Yeah. Why is that? Okay, the last 3 months, not the last year.
It's good to measure your trends, your personal trends. Yeah.
And then Michael Jackson popped up. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, oh yeah, Rory and Dave like Michael Jackson. Yeah. Sometimes when I listen to it in the car. So I switched it to the 1 year full one, like, okay, cool, no Michael Jackson, Guns N' Roses above Kiss. And the world is right, that's the way it would be. But it's just harmless fun. And hearing that Lagerphone was my #1 song of the year. I'm just always curious to know what the song is that I hear the most. And yeah, it's just harmless fun. Like I said, we can't put the genie back in the bottle. Just use it for what it can be used for. If you're like a band, buy a t-shirt, go see a concert. There's other ways to support the band if you can.
Yeah.
It's a tool, and whether you like it or not, you have to use it.
It's not going away.
Yeah. If you're in a band and you're not putting your stuff on Spotify, it's just a detriment to your prospects. So it's a necessary evil, people. Personally, I prefer the studio system. I think, for all the horror stories you hear, it did a good job. I mean, bands had massive careers. You don't have classic rock bands from the past 50 years. From the last 10 years, it's not happening.
Yeah. Yep.
So more music than ever before, and that's part of the reason why it's harder for a band to separate themselves from the pack. But whole other conversation. But as far as Wrapped and the festival lineup goes, it was fun just to see what it generated.
Yeah, bit of fun. Just enjoy it for what it is. That's my point of view, and that seems like you agree, which is cool. Well, we got some comments as always. Vinny says, "Buy more lasers for your wood blokes." Yeah, well, I've got mine. I'm still working that out. So there we go. Dean says, "Being a musician is tough, not just a professional. Support local bands. Our gods won't be around forever. Unfortunately, that's very true."
Yeah.
Nicole says, "At least they're not F-18s with pilots in training at the moment. Sometimes sounds like they miss a head and I duck." Okay, well, there we go. Yeah, I do sympathize with that up there. Miss a gear. That's what she was saying there. Yeah. I wouldn't like that feeling up there. It was just, that was a very strange sound before. Dean says, "Spotify Wrapped was fun, and the festival was fun and fantastic. Life's too short. Go have fun. Everyone takes everything too seriously, but I understand the musicians and bands having a say, not much coin going into the bands. I know myself being in a band, but go have fun." There we go. Vinny says, "Maybe to raise more funds, rock bands could diversify and donate their sperm to help breed a new breed of rock artists." Dave's going, "There's an idea in that."
I'm not in a band, but I can donate if people want. Raise the money for the hard rock.
There we go. Dean says, "My Spotify festival was great. Unfortunately, most are either retired or died, but it was bloody fun. Dream festivals in a way. My headlines were AC/DC, Airborne, and Status Quo." Well, that's a good little lineup there. That's nice. And Mal says, "CDs are getting harder to find. Had to order the new Skid Row to be imported." That is true as well. It's another conversation. There's heaps to go through. I'm sure we'll get into those things next year as well. But we're going to leave that one there and move on quickly to a gig plug here, which I've got to do now because it is tomorrow night, this gig. No, it's not tomorrow night. Sunday night.
You do the gig plug. I'll be back.
All right, you go do that. So Saturday, December 10 at the Pelly Bar, we have Thrash Fest. This is, what do we got? Let me go down through the comments, the description here. So Thrash Fest, the new wave of Australian thrash metal, brings together all metalheads alike who like their thrash metal in all its glory. This will be held at the Pelly Bar on 10th of December 2022, celebrating Australian thrash metal. Exciting, huge lineup. Headline will be none other than Harlot from Melbourne, who have toured extensively supporting major international bands. Mason from Melbourne joined this year, ready to remind everyone that they're at the forefront of things. And we also have Pure Envy from Newcastle, The Ascendant from Warrnambool, Encrypt from Melbourne, Dark Order from Sydney, Livewire from Sydney, Thraxis from Sydney, Reaver from Sydney, Warrior Within from Queensland, Clarity of Chaos from Canberra, and Rautism, our good friends there, Keith, in from Melbourne. There's heaps going on. So most of these bands we know and love here at the show. So you got Harlot, Mason, Pure Envy, Encrypt. These are the ones we know and love. Thraxis, Rautism. So that's more than half of it there. It kicks off from 3:10 with Rautism, closes with Harlot starting at 11:30. It's about $30-something a ticket if you go pre-sale. I'm not sure what it is at the bar. There's like 400 people have already responded online, which is cool. So hopefully get a few hundred people there. But it'd be great to see some people get down there. So if you're keen, on Saturday night, there is a gig, Thrash Fest 2022, Saturday, December 10 at Pelly Bar, starting in early afternoon or maybe mid-afternoon, I guess, these days. So just before about 3 o'clock, all the way through till, probably 1 o'clock in the morning. That is going to be a ripper. So get on down and get involved if you can. All right, we got some more comments here, I'm sure. Maybe. What have I got? What have we got? BP says, "Can I buy a THRS mark white with black print?" I am working on a few things in that regard, so I am trying to do basically, for those that aren't paying attention, I've got a new toy here that I can make some stuff with. So I'm going to try and play with that, exactly what you're talking about there. So if I can make it work, I'll make that happen. Otherwise, I will find another way. We are going to do more merch runs in the new year once I get a few things sorted out. So that is coming either way. Just can't do it today, unfortunately. Nicole says that would be an awesome gig. It would be a very, very fun gig. So please, if you can, if you're able to, I know, Nicole, it's a bit of a hike from you, from up there. But yes, definitely get down to that gig if you'd be so kind. And BP, yeah, I know you've been chasing one for a while. I've been chasing one for half a decade. I do apologize. We've only ever had them made very sporadically, not as a sale item, either, just something to have for a memento thing for whatever point we were doing with things over the years. Had some gifted to us, and had some just sort of, my wife got some order just as one-off things ages ago as a little gift. What do we got here? Dean says, can't wait to get some merch when you eventually get time. That's the trouble, is I've got to organize everything. That's the problem. And yeah, BP says half a decade. No, it's a decade. Yeah, it is a decade. Nicole says, if you need sublimation mugs done, let me know. I can help. Awesome. Thank you very much. That might be a help indeed. I'll keep you in mind for that, Nicole, for sure. And TC says, Thrash Fest on my wife's work party. I know where I'd rather be, but I know where I will be. Sympathize with that. Very diplomatically put. Well done, good sir. All right, Dave, you're back. Let's get into the releases that are coming up. We've got a list of releases for the rest of the year. There's like 3 weeks left of them. There's not a huge amount there that I thought of, but Dave, what got your attention, if anything?
Yeah, nothing. I had a look, and I'm like, fuck, I gotta try and pick something, but I really couldn't. So yeah, I'm just gonna be honest, there's nothing. So I'm gonna spend the next few weeks really going over things that I might have missed.
Yeah.
So there's a lot. Oh fuck! Somebody last week said listen to the Butterfly Effect, and I did, and I fucking loved it. The new album from the Butterfly Effect is really cool. So if you haven't heard it, give it a listen. Very, very good.
I will have to go and check that out. We've got Jeff in there, so hopefully he can hang around for a bit, and we've got Conrad wandering around the room somewhere. We're going to get you guys in very, very shortly, so make sure you
set and ready to go. Around going, Dave, shut the fuck up. No more Guns N' Roses. What did I get myself into?
Yeah, but that bit there was the shortest you've been for a long time. So, no, bang. I did find a few. So Pacifier with Maynard's always an interesting sort of thing to check out. Classless Act released a pretty cool album not too long ago. They've done some fun stuff. They got an acoustic EP coming out. When is that coming out? That is on December 16, that one. So Classless Act, acoustic EP, that's coming up very soon. And then also Crosses, which is feature members of Deftones. That's another little interesting little side project. I did listen to a couple of things in the past. Didn't mind it. So there's some interesting ones there coming up toward the end of the year. But it does get very quiet between now and sort of mid-January. So it is what it is at this point in time. Alrighty, time for the quick game. And then we'll get our guests in for tonight. We're going to get both Conrad and Jeff in for the first time ever. Going to have them both here, which is going to be really, really, really cool. But for now, Dave, it's a very quick one, this game. It's a ranking. We haven't really done a top 10 ranking of any sort on a stream before, so we're going to do one now. And because it is the end of the year, it's our last one, and it's also the festive season. It's the time for the top 10s and all that kind of stuff. We're going to rank our top 10 Christmas or festive tunes. So, Dave, what have you got on your list?
Okay, going 10 to 1. Darkness, Christmas Time, Don't Let the Bells End. Lemmy with Run, Rudolph, Run.
Yeah.
King Diamond, No Presents for Christmas.
Yeah.
Sabotage, Christmas Eve. Sabaton, Christmas Truce. Blind Guardian, Merry Christmas, Everyone. AC/DC, No Mistress for Christmas.
Yep.
Wednesday 13, Buried by Christmas.
Okay.
Alice Cooper, Santa Claus. And Twisted Sister, Heavy Metal Christmas, 12 Days of Christmas.
Nice. We got some crossover, but we're gonna have some very different lists too. And I reckon my list might be on the quirkier side than yours. So let's see what this does. What do we got? Sorry. Just going back through comments here. Okay, cool. Just setting things up for myself. So, chat's going on. Sorry. Okay, cool. People are ready when I'm ready. Cool. All right. Sorry, I'm just trying to navigate a few things at the same time. My apologies. I will get to all that in a second. All right, my top 10, as it stands today, as I went through it. So a little band that we've known from the very start of the show is from out of Northern Ireland called Truckee Diablo. They've got a song called We're Gonna Rock This Christmas, and I love that track. I tend to play it every year. It's been a favorite of mine for quite some time. They've done a second video for that, which is nice too. So I'm very happy with that one. Then also AC/DC, Mistress for Christmas. Of course, how can you not have that one? I had the same as you, Twisted Sister, Heavy Metal Christmas. And I'm going from 10 to 1, so they're at number 7 for me, with our number 1 for you. One that wasn't on your list as well, Steel Panther, Sexy Santa. I started to have some fun with this one. But then I know I've got one here that a lot of people out there enjoy, which is Corey Taylor with Xmas or Christmas, whatever. And that's just go fuck yourself. What's not to like about that sort of a song? One that's slightly more obscure, but also not at the same time, is one that TC actually plays in our upcoming Christmas TV special, is Small Town Titans with You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch. That is a great fucking tune. I love that one. That's become a favorite of mine very quickly. Here's one that I know Dave will groan at, but I love it, and I want to play it all the time. This is William Shatner with Billy Gibbons, Rudolph Red-Nosed Reindeer. And if you haven't listened to Shatner Claus, you are missing out. It is fantastic. It's not for everyone. Brendan and I loved it. Dave vomited when we talked about
Shatner gives me fucking trauma.
But William Shatner doing Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer is an experience. I guarantee.
Oh, he made my son cry.
How?
When we reviewed that album, he was asleep, and I was reviewing it late at night. He woke up and started crying because that was his favorite Christmas tune when he was like 2 or 3 years old. And he hears this fucking horrible drunk old uncle crapping on. It's terrible.
Oh, I love it. That's made me happy.
No.
I'm going to redeem myself because my number 3 choice is Lemmy with Company with Run, Rudolph, Run. That is a great one. Number 2, though, is one that I never get tired of, and it's Kevin Bloody Wilson with Hey Santa Claus.
Oh, I forgot that.
So good. We're on the other side, Nana. Oh, wow. I love it. And my number 1 song, my number 1 festive tune is Dropkick Murphys, The Season's Upon Us. I love the one every single year. That's a fantastic, fun little tune. But there are so many more we could have chosen from. Like, there's heaps out there. We got a playlist which we'll share closer to the date. But also get in the comments, let us know your favorite Christmas songs as well. But as a bonus one, though, Carol of the Bells. I don't care what format it's in. It can be covered by,
Peter Griffin.
Yeah, or Trans-Siberian Orchestra or whatever else have you. So there's heaps of versions out there of it. But even the one that's in, like, Home Alone is great. I just love the minor notes in it. That's just the Carol of the Bells. It's probably my absolute, oh, my God, I love that piece of music. So there we go. Well, we've got some comments here. Vinny says, oh, just quickly, Dave, did you listen to the Butterfly Effect? Well, that was just brought up, so yes, you did, and you enjoyed it.
I did. Very good.
Nicole says, happy wife, happy life, Tim. That is very much the case. Andrew says, hey, guys, just wondering if you had a chance to listen to the new Nebula Viscara single, Equus, an absolute beauty. Haven't had a chance yet, unfortunately. I do want to. It's just this time of year, it's just sort of whatever I can find in the moment. I know you've sent things through, but I haven't had a chance to check it out. I do want to. I will do so as soon as I can, and I'll make sure someone else in the crew does as well. Rowan, though, says, I love the new Nebula Viscara track, so it is getting some love out there. We'll give it a share and stuff soon. I do apologize for the delay with that one. Dean asks, has anyone seen the Pantera live shows yet? They played 2 shows this week. A lot of negativity. I haven't seen it. I haven't wanted to see it, so I've just sort of gone, okay, whatever it is, what it is. But I found an article about Charlie Benanti saying something about disrespectful. It's like, but it's not a reunion, but they were calling it a reunion as far as I was aware. So it's like, it's a bit sort of weird to be angry about that now. Again, genie out of the bottle, folks. You can't put it back in when you start billing in a certain way. Vinny says, thanks for listening to Butterfly Effect. So there we go. BP says, this show will go to new heights if you're able to introduce a THRS puppet, a bit like Dickie Nevert. Hey, it's Saturday. You know what? We've done that before. Remember when we had people walking up the bar, the old bar at the set? Like, we've actually done things like this before. So we had, was it Juno and Pat Cash, I think was another one there with, it was fucking wild. We've done some strange things over the years. Dean says, Mistress for Christmas, Run, Rudolph, Run, Lemmy, and Dave Grohl. I think he did play drums on the Run, Rudolph, Run.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. Nicole says, Majestic and Ghosts of Christmas Past. Majestica, yes, that is a really good. They did a great Christmas album a little while ago, which is fucking good. If you like your Christmas stuff, check that out for sure. She's corrected her typo saying hot and sweaty fingers. It is warmer up there. Good one here from BP. Queen, thank God it's Christmas. But also Pretenders, 2,000 miles. Nice. TC, one of his favorites, Spinal Tap, Christmas with the Devil. All these on the playlist. Here we go. Bash does not mention a favorite Christmas song is by the Greedles, Thin Lizzy. There we go. I can't see the link right now, but I do remember that being a thing a while ago. I forget which one it is now. I can't see the link, unfortunately. Not in this one. Yeah, go and check it out on Facebook, Dave. Darren says, yep, Kevin Bloody Wilson is legendary. And Mal says, we need to compare Christmas song list. I have one disc, a Metal Christmas, and a Headbanging New Year. Everything else is Trans-Siberian Orchestra. There'd be a lot out there to compare. We might plan one year to do something. We've done it before. We've done Christmas special before. We might try and do another one where it's a bit more in-depth if we can make it happen. But just this time of year, every year gets harder and harder, so it's just really tricky.
That Leo guy on YouTube does a lot of good Christmas ones as well.
Yeah.
Leo Morrow.
Leo Morrow.
Metal God. Yeah, he's really good.
Yeah. Dean says, please come home for Christmas by Eagles. Yeah, that's another good one as well. All righty. Are we ready for our guests? Are our guests ready for us? Is probably the more important question.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, guys. I've been talking too much.
Okay. Here's Conrad. Here's also known as Thor. And here is Jeff. Is Jeff getting delay or is he with us?
He's with us.
I'm good.
I hope I'm good.
Jeff's good. Okay.
I'm good. Hey,
we're good.
Now it's going to get messy.
Oh, Conrad, let's reach. How do we do this? Reach over, Conrad. Let's stick our hands together. Here we go.
Here we go.
There it is.
Hey!
You can see who's used to this.
Handshake.
Fucking go.
Anyway, this is like the grabber thing out of that coin game thing. I don't know, the grabber. Anyway,
okay.
What do we got?
I gotta do it, Jeff. I'm gonna be a prick. Can you just say, "I'm not your buddy, guy"?
I'm not your buddy, guy. What?
You've made his Christmas. You've made his Christmas. Well done, Jeff.
What is that from? What is that from?
The South Park.
South Park.
We got the Canadians in South Park. Terrence and Phillip.
Right. Yeah.
Terrence and Phillip.
Thank you.
Anyway, Sally's going, hey guys. So she's happy to see you guys join us. So thanks for jumping in. Michael's gone. Have to mention Rob Halford with his CD full of Christmas carols. The second one being much better than the first. I'll say that one.
The first one was bad. That was really fucking bad.
That was not a good listen. Vinny says, hope you close the screen door, Thor. Mozzies are pretty bad this time of year on Asgard. So it's not going to go away. Oh no. And Mal says, I have news for young Jeff later on. I'm going to let Jeff work that out with Mal later on.
Oh.
I have no idea what that's about, but hopefully Jeff does, because otherwise it's blank stares all around.
Interesting.
Crickets? I don't.
The plot thickens.
I don't know. That's not.
Anyway, quickly, let's do a quick little thing. So, Conrad, we'll start with you. How you going this week, buddy? How have you been?
Groovy. Yeah, not bad. Quite well. I can't complain. Or if I did, it wouldn't make the blindest bit of difference.
For all of us. Oh, wow.
Yeah, so there's no point in complaining. No, all good. But thank you.
Cool.
Nothing to report. I'm sorry to say, nothing wildly exciting.
Did you go to Guns N' Roses?
I wish. I was very, very, very tempted, but I didn't have a spare $500 lying around.
Yep.
And I was looking at tickets. And me, being me, wants to be down the front amongst it and wants to be right amongst it.
Throw your microphone in my face, man.
Yeah, I wanted to be right amongst it. And those I did see tickets available, but it was like the $500 mark.
Yeah,
I couldn't justify it at the moment. However, I am pleased to see they'll be playing Hyde Park in London in the summer. So I'm in the English summer.
Nice.
I'm hoping to catch them at Hyde Park in the English summer. Yeah.
Cool.
So I look forward to that.
You're here, Jeff. We got you back.
Yeah. Thank you. I do not know what happened. It just went out.
I know you're going through a few things, so we'll just sort of write it out as best we can with you, but hopefully.
Yeah. Look, I wanted to do this so badly. I don't even have internet. I'm streaming from my phone so that I can do this for you guys, because And I work in IT, and I'm an internet guy, and I cannot get my internet. I literally am in my new house today, as of today.
Wow, congrats.
Thank you.
It's painful, but congrats. So.
Well, I just don't. Yeah, I'll have to work on that tomorrow. I've been getting these high data usage warnings, and I don't know what that means. That maybe this is going to cost me about $5,000 for this show. I don't know. We'll see. I'm sending you the bill, Eddie. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
You ain't going to Guns N' Roses
the next
next
5
time.
years.
It's all good. I've had the week from hell, so yeah.
Yeah. Moving house sucks. Is everything
Moving
okay?
house. What's that?
Moving house sucks, but is everything else okay aside from that? Hopefully.
Yeah, everything else is pretty good. I think
Yeah.
so far. Can't complain. I'm just happy to be here.
Oh, well, we're very happy to have you both. Very happy to have you both. I'm glad we can make this one work. We did get everyone here for this one, for the last one for the year. We'll do it more often next year for sure, but we got everyone here for this time as well. Rowan's gone. It's been a long time since Dennis was on the show. I can't remember if he was a puppet or not. I wasn't put my hand up anywhere near him. Here we go. Conrad's got something. But Dennis, what we could do with Dennis is because we get someone with a wig on it and it would pretend to be Dennis. Like that would work. It'd be just as intelligent.
I've got the wig. I could do it. It's not here at the house, but I could do that.
Are we gonna? Conrad, you keep doing that, Conrad. I'm going to put you in solo mode. That's what I'm going to do to you. Just because I'll enjoy it. All right, what do we got here? And Vinny says, more importantly, are you happily employed again, Thor? Is there any change on that front for you?
Yeah, well, I'm getting a lot of bites with
okay, cool.
possible employers and interviews and things like that. I'm getting some interviews. I'm not sure whether to pack up and head up to my folks yet or not. There's some things going on here in Melbourne that I might want to get away from. So just maybe a change of scenery might be in order.
Yeah.
And planning to go back to London next year as well. Planning to live over in the UK again. So preparing for that to save money for that. So I might go back to mum and dad and save some money for 6 months.
Yeah, makes sense.
So just weighing a few things up. But thank you for those of you asking. Yes, I'm hopefully not an unemployed bum for very much longer.
Fingers crossed for you, man. Fingers crossed. Oh, God, what we got here? BP's going, Dennis turnaround would look like Dickie Knee. Well, yeah, that would work. And Darren says, that's a strange-looking hammer. All right, we're going to get into it now. Everyone runs away on us tonight. Let's get to the quote unquote main event. We'll do the album reviews a bit after this, but we're going to get into the final battle for the year. We're going to determine a winner between some all-time classic albums here. We're going to do this is the King of the Riff, the Battle of the 50-Year-Olds. This is the final round. We've knocked out a few up to this point. Well, we've lost along the way. We've lost Status Quo, Pile Driver, Alice Cooper School's out, Uriah Heep, Demons and Wizards, Deep Purple Made Japan, Boys to Cult self-titled, and Scorpions Lonesome Crow. Those are the ones that have been knocked out to get to this point, where we have Black Sabbath Volume 4, which was the number 2 seed going up against Deep Purple Machine Head, which was the number 1 seed as went into this one. Nice work there, Dave, with the props. Well done. So that is...
It happened.
I know. You've got the experience. So, yeah, it's Black Sabbath Volume 4 versus Deep Purple Machine Head. So all-time classics albums. Now, when I did the polling for this one yesterday online, I put out the little video. I was actually quite surprised just how sort of one-sided it was in favor of Black Sabbath. So that was pretty heavy-handed on one side there. But Dave, are you going to go with the crowd or are you going to go with the number 1 seed? Which way are you leaning?
This was actually pretty hard thinking, but both bands are rock royalty. Both albums are all-time classics. Well, Machine Head is kind of an all-time essential. Volume 4 does get overshadowed by Paranoid and possibly Masters of Reality. Because when you talk about classic rock albums, they're the big ones. Volume 4 would be like just underneath those. But when you say, you could say they were pure Sabbath on Paranoid and Masters of Reality. Volume 4, they're venturing into different styles and tempos and expanding on the Sabbath sound. Deep Purple weren't really at that whole expansion style yet. They'd done 6 albums and they kind of found their groove. And with Volume 4, Sabbath were really branching out, and that's their 4th album. Deep Purple have 6 albums to get to this point. Yeah. Sabbath done, established, experiment. It's kind of hard to compare these two because they're both, same band, same classic rock, but they're all very different. Everyone's doing their own thing, which is an amazing time in rock history. But I got to go with Sabbath just simply because I think they expanded on what they were doing and they were willing to take some chances. And overall, it's a historical moment from 50 years ago, and it stands the test of time. And it's experimental. It's Sabbath. It gives the fans what they wanted at the time. They took it into different directions. But yeah, I think Volume 4 is a much better album than Machine Head. Some people might shoot me, but that's what I think.
All right, there we go. That's one down. Jeff, you dovetailed in with that, with your response on the social. So let's get your feedback on that now. You still sticking with your choice yesterday?
Yeah, I think Volume 4 is. Well, I mean, Sabbath as a band, Deep Purple had already established themselves, right? They were. How many albums is it, Dave? You said it was 5 or 6 in.
I think it's 6. Machine Head
6. Yeah, so I mean, at that point, there's no point that was, and I think arguably, and many people may disagree, that was their pinnacle, right? Machine Head was their pinnacle, and then from there, they released a lot of great stuff, but it was sort of all downhill. Where Sabbath was just up on the rise, and they just kept going up and up and up, and arguably, even past, when Ozzy left, they just kept going up.
Yeah.
So I think Volume 4 is just a piece in the puzzle for Sabbath. It may not be as iconic as Sabbath Bloody Sabbath or, a Paranoid or something like that, but I think it's still a great album, and it helps cement what they had already built. And not to say that Deep Purple, it didn't happen with Deep Purple as well, and I'm sure it did. But I just think that there's something about those early albums with Sabbath that, unlike those early albums with Deep Purple, because a lot of people don't even like the original Deep Purple with Rod Evans singing. It's a different band, really.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until Ian Gillan came along that Deep Purple really came into their own. And I don't know if you guys had mentioned, did you realize that Ian Gillan has just lost his wife there a few weeks ago?
Oh, no, I didn't know that. Shit.
Yeah, Bon Gillan. They were married in '84, so he would be. And it's ironic that that he's going through that now because what's the guitar player's name left because of his wife. The latest guitar player. No, not Blackmore. The latest guitar player.
Steve Morse.
Steve Morse. Yeah, Steve Morse had to leave the band because his wife was sick.
Yeah.
And then this happened. So I think it happened on the 19th of November. I think she passed away.
Oh, shit. Okay. Well, if any of them see these condolences, that's not good.
Yeah. So he's obviously, you couldn't even imagine where his head would be.
Yeah.
Yeah. But getting back, I sort of got off topic, but getting up, I think that while maybe Volume 4 isn't as iconic in itself as Machine Head, it's better of a piece of the puzzle that Sabbath was building. Whereas after Machine Head, Deep Purple sort of went off in all different directions, especially when Coverdale came in, So they were struggling to find their identity. And I don't think all those albums work, but that's just my opinion. But so Volume 4 for the win.
Nice. Well, that's 2 from 2. Conrad, are you going to agree or disagree?
Probably going to go with Volume 4 because I like riffs. I'm a big riff man. So, and Iommi to me is one of the best riff writers in rock metal history. Really, I think. Iommi. Who else do I put in there? Malcolm Young and Mustaine. And Mustaine, those three would be probably my favorite riff writers.
That's a good topic, actually. The best riff writers. But anyway, go on. Sorry.
And Volume 4's just got riffs on. It's just
Yeah.
a lot of riffs. So I'm going to go with that. Maybe Blackmore might be a better guitar player as a lead player, but I think as maybe Volume 4 is more interesting to listen to. Probably more
Blackmore
interesting
versus Iommi.
Yeah. So I think
That's a tough one.
Yeah. So maybe I think Volume 4 is probably a bit more interesting to listen to for me. But
Okay.
my 2 cents worth on that. Yeah. So
Wow.
I'm gonna go with so it's a three-way at the moment. So yeah.
Well, that determines the result. There's no way, no matter what I say now, anything's going to change. But just to be the contrarian fuckwit that I am, I'm going to tell you all to fuck yourselves and go with Deep Purple.
Better in the works.
Yeah, I've got it. No, it's not going to be unified, at least. Now, the reason, for, you go through these, the fun thing about this is because we've been listening, Dave and I in particular, have been listening to these albums for weeks and weeks on end. The longevity is what's really important to these albums and how well they stand up. Now, the thing is that Sabbath kind of started off with a bit of a wet sail for me and came home really strong. So I have appreciated more listening to Volume 4 over the last couple of months than I did to begin with, if that makes sense. So I do believe that in the wider context of Sabbath's career, it's probably an underappreciated album. It does mean and have a lot more going for it than people might expect when you sit down and listen to it deeply. So it's not a lack of love for it. I love it to bits. I think it's a fantastic release. I mean, the Supernaut and Snowblind alone are worth it. Those two songs are fantastic. For me, though, what makes me lean toward Deep Purple is, I get what Jeff in particular was saying about how Volume 4 is a better piece of the puzzle, but Deep Purple on Machine Head were firing on all cylinders, and it probably was their peak, but it's a fucking monster. And when I listen to both those albums back to back, even setting up to film today, I'm able to sing along with every song pretty much on Machine Head a lot more easily than I am with Volume 4. And I just find that when I was teaching guitar years ago too, I didn't teach anything from Volume 4, but I taught so many kids how to play Smoke on the Water. So when it comes to just cultural impact and the history of that song, and while both bands had their struggles getting these albums out, you go through the history, it's all there to be seen. But that legacy from Smoke on the Water is just something that you go back to, Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath, that kind of stuff gives you those impacts. But whilst I love Volume 4, it doesn't quite have that sort of zeitgeist feeling that you get from Machine Head for me personally. So it is a done deal. It's going to be a win for Black Sabbath in this overall thing. But I'm going to be the one person that puts hand up and says, I'm going to go with Deep Purple Machine Head. I love the album to bits, and I think that, it's hard to... I actually think the funniest thing is with Smoke on the Water, it's probably not the best song on the album as far as I'm concerned. I think that song itself might be a touch overrated in the grand scheme of things, but what it's done in terms of impact is just phenomenal. But on top of that, you got things like Highway Star, Lazy, Space Truck, and those things are great. And you've also got the same diversity in terms of the feel and vibe that you get on Volume 4. But I just find that Machine Head is a bit more smooth. The edges aren't as rough, and so for me it's just a bit more of a complete album from top to bottom overall. But the winner overall of our first ever King of the Riff in this fight, which has actually been a really fun thing to do, the winner of this one is Black Sabbath Volume 4. So well done to the iconic album. So Black Sabbath Volume 4 gets the win. Our first ever King of the Riff winner for the Battle of the 50-Year-Olds. We haven't done this fight before. It's been an absolute blast. I'll get to some comments in a second because I'm sure there's a lot. But Dave, what have you thought about doing this process on the streaming side of things just week to week? We'll get you guys as well, Jeff and Conrad, to give your thoughts on it too. But what do you think?
It's been interesting because when you see the heavyweights, or my personal favorites, at least like Deep Purple, Sabbath, Alice Cooper. I thought Alice Cooper, in name at least, would have been higher up, but the School's Out album never been a favorite, and I'm not surprised that lost out earlier on.
Yeah.
Now, as much as I love Alice Cooper, I'm being objective. That album hasn't aged well. Yeah. And on the other hand, Uriah Heep, I haven't heard that album before. That was cool.
Yeah.
And Scorpions, I haven't heard that album in a long time. That was cool to go back to that.
Yeah.
So it's just interesting that 50 years is a long fucking time. It's half a century, but the music from back then is remarkable. And there's so many different bands that all contemporaries, they all had the same influences, and they all had their own unique styles. And you could find even more bands from back then. They all were doing their own thing.
Yeah.
And it's just something that's lost over the course of 50 years. You know, no one has that individual. Well, a lot of people do. I don't want to talk bad about local modern bands, but it's just that surge of creativity. Everyone had their own unique voice, their own unique way of doing things. So it's fascinating to go back over classic rock. I you know, it was early 2000s. Regular viewers will hear my gripes. I got sick of the whole new metal thing, and I started backtracking. It's easy to go back further and further back to see influences of different bands, and there's so much unique stuff out there. So if you're serious about being a musician, go back to the classics as well as hearing what you're hearing now. But it's been a fun process, and ultimately I'm happy Sabbath Volume 4 won, because that album got a new love from me after seeing Sabbath back in 2013, I think it was. But they played Under the Sun, and all good concerts will have a song that they pull out, an album track, and it's just like, fuck, I overlooked that song. And you go back to the album, it's like, this song's really cool. It makes you appreciate the songs around that a lot more. So I've had a lot of love for that album for a long time. So interesting process.
Yep. Well, you guys from the outside looking in, let's go to you first, Conrad. What have you thought about us doing this thing week in, week out, and doing something a bit different like this?
As in an elimination?
Yeah,
like
just
whittling down. Whittling down. I think it's good. I think it's interesting, and it's a good way of seeing what your audience is and getting an idea, a feel for your audience, because you get the age demographic, obviously, and maybe you might get some younger people listening to some older stuff, which is great. You know, if it turns younger people on to listening to some classic stuff, then I think that's brilliant. You know, and also you get a different perspective on things in regards to people might discover things at a different point in their life, depending on how old that they are. You know, so they might discover something at a different point than 10 years previous or after somebody else. So, you know, I think take it in. I think that's interesting. It's definitely interesting, and it keeps, hopefully the audience keeps the audiences entertained. That's the main thing. That's the hope.
We're coming back week after week. I think we're doing something okay.
Yeah, it's good
for now.
It's good that there's interaction with the audience, interaction, and they get they feel involved in something, and that's good. That's great to hear.
Yeah,
we're all very passionate about rock and metal.
Yeah,
and we all get very sometimes.
Yes, we do.
we can get a bit opinionated at each other, and it's fun. I mean, it's nice to have a laugh about it all, as opposed to saying that fucking shit.
Yeah. We've done that over the years as well.
That's just ridiculous. It's interesting to get other people's points of view on albums. Yeah.
Cool.
That's my rant.
Nice. No, well put. What about you, Jeff? What have you thought from the outside looking in of this little game?
Well, just to echo what Conrad just said, I think it's fantastic what he said about, trying to get, if younger people are listening that may not have listened or heard of this stuff, take it from me. I'm as old as dirt. I was 3 years old when Volume 4 came out. So that tells you how old I am. So, but I think that, I grew up liking all kinds of music, and then I gravitated towards, the harder stuff, I guess, hard rock and stuff, metal. And I kind of wish that when I was, a teenager or something, that there was other bands that I wasn't listening until later on. And I wish someone had said, hey, you should listen to this or listen to that. And I didn't have that. So this is why this is great. I think you got to find what the next one, the Battle of the 50-Year-Olds, find something else and go down that road. Yeah. Overlooked albums and eras that, we
have a lot of plans. We have a lot of plans.
The concept album.
That'll be a good one too.
Fun and painful at the same time. Once you start thinking about that, it's like, I don't want to compare those two albums, man.
It's tough.
Gotta do that.
Yeah. Well, concept albums, there's so many. I mean, I have my Desert Island CD is concept album. It's Operation Mindcrime. I think
Yeah.
Jimmy and I are the same. You know?
Yeah, definitely. There we go. There's Conrad jumping in on that one too.
John, yeah, there you go. So like, I think it's the best. I recently heard an interview because Blackie Lawless has been doing a lot of backstage interviews and stuff for the thing, and he mentioned Operation Mindcrime and he mentioned The Crimson Idol. Well, The Crimson Idol is a great album. There's no question about it. It's very, very repetitive, which is something that. No. Listen, Dave,
you would have done it now. Oh, shit.
There's a can of worms.
Operation Mindcrime wouldn't make my top 5. It's
on. That's fine.
Here we go. It's on now.
It's a can of worms. I know. I've opened it. But listen, if you listen to
I shouldn't have said anything. I shouldn't have said a fucking thing.
yeah, you did open the door. No,
sorry.
The Crimson. Blackie was saying something about the Crimson Idol. How he always thought. Did you see the interview where he said he always thought that Operation Mindcrime was better, but now he thinks the Crimson Idol is better? I'm like, what? Get out of here! No way.
No, I think he said there were two different beasts. And
they are two different beasts. But if you listen, don't get me wrong, I love the Crimson Idol, but musically, it repeats the same thing in all the songs. You hear elements.
Well, not every song.
No, almost every song. But Operation Mindcrime does not do that. Every single song is different.
All right, we have to do this episode.
We're going off track.
We have to do this. We have to do this one now. All right, next up, we're gonna do this concept album battle of fucking next year. It's on now.
We'll do one person of color, Lawless, by the way.
Oh God,
and I think Angela will agree with me here on this one. Jeff Wayne's War of the World.
Phenomenal.
Yes.
Phenomenal.
Great. Yeah.
No. I saw that live concert in London.
You bastard.
I saw that
special.
At the O2 Arena, and they had the tripod come out. It was insane. It was awesome.
That would have been amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Liam Neeson did the narrator.
Yes. Yeah. Yep.
It was a hologram.
I couldn't take that seriously. I just was thinking Naked Gun
narration.
No.
He did, because originally it was it Orson Welles that did it?
Richard Burton.
Richard Burton, right? Yeah.
No, fucking unreal. Anyway, sorry, I'm digressing.
No, that's all right. It's all good.
No.
Concept albums is a must. I can guarantee.
There's a lot of them out there. There's a lot, there really is. There's a lot. There's scenes from memory. Exactly.
Like the Deep Purple. Deep Purple. Pink Floyd, The Wall.
I fucking love The Wall. Things from a Memory. Welcome to My Nightmare.
Yeah.
Arion.
Huge list. There's a huge list.
Right.
And at the top of all of them is Operation Mindcrime. So there you
go. We'll find out. We will do this in the new year, and we'll find out. We'll get the audience to determine that as well with us. Here we go. Shots are fired now. All right, let me get some comments here, and then we'll do some reviews. What do we got here? So, BP went with Purple. Rowan went, I have Purple album, listened to it about once a year, lots of memorable songs, never heard the Sabbath album, so I'm curious how this plays out. So that was a comment there. Vinny says, I sometimes think Dio was that fresh nitrous injection Sabbath benefited from that helped them continue that upward trajectory and maintain the pinnacle. No disrespect to Ozzy. We did our Ozzy versus Dio battle special, and we all agreed on that too. Michael says Machine Head was at the time a big deal from production point of view as it was quadraphonic from that aspect, different to Volume 4. Very good point there. Very nice. Dean says, great you put the late, great Malcolm Young in one of your favorite riff riders. Good topic as well for top 10 best riff riders. That is a good one there.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's a great one.
Yeah. Dean says, I think Deep Purple for me personally on this as well. BP says, the story about Smoke on the Water is too good. Love Sabbath. That is the fun part of it.
That is fucking hilarious.
Yeah. Rowan says, split points decision. Good luck with that. Here we go. BP says, Fireball is my favorite Deep Purple album. Nice.
That's a great album. Yeah.
Good album.
Basher says, first 6 Sabbath albums are amazing and solidified my direction into the darkness. Over Deep Purple, Machine Head is a classic, and songs like Highway Star, Lazy, Space Truckin' and Smoke are still, after 50 years, on my regular playlist. And that's what won it for me. Lee says, "You go, Andrew. Machine Head is deserved applauded." So I got some love for my my point of view there. Darren said, "Machine Head for me. Don't agree that Sabbath got better and better after Volume 4. They were on a downward spiral after Technical Ecstasy and Never Say Die, but came back strong with Heaven and Hell. Heaven and Hell was a good fucking beast." But,
yeah, but what about Sabotage? Come on.
That's an underrated album.
Underrated. I love that album. That's the first Sabbath CD I owned.
My favorite song is on that album from Sabbath, The Writ. The last song, The Writ.
That's
favorite Sabbath song. Yeah.
But I even like the stuff with Tony Martin, to be honest. I think that gets overlooked far too easily as well.
We should, have you done anything with him? Because I've got all his stuff, and it's fantastic. Yeah.
We did all the Sabbath albums. That was my first taping on this. First special I did all the albums, but Tony Martin's good.
He's very good.
They put out a lot of records.
They did. I don't think we did all of them. We did a good cross section though. I'm not quite sure it was all of them, but we'll do that eventually.
Even
Tear was no album. That's fucking good.
Yeah, Forbidden is people will say, "Oh, it's like the worst Sabbath album," but actually, if you go back and listen to that, there's 3 or 4 absolute classics on that album.
Yeah, definitely. And
did Joe Lynn Turner sing for Sabbath at one point? Joe Lynn Turner.
He sang for Purple.
He sang for Purple.
Yeah.
Purple.
Well, he did Rainbow. Technically.
Good point. Yeah. BP says, "Dave, Volume 4 Appetite." Come on, really? You're gonna ask that question? Dean says, "I agree with Dave about the 50 years topic. All those bands grew up with Elvis, Chuck Berry, Jerry Lee Lewis, John Lee Hooker, etc.
John Lee Hooker.
With something different without copying to a point, which is nice." Vinny says, "It's great for us older folks, but time capsule for the next generation to discover." That is a nice little crossover thing there too. Dean said, "I listen to new rock and metal music, but I'm always old school rocker, even though I'm probably the youngest fan in this chat. But whatever my dad played, I listen to, like the Beatles, AC/DC, the Angels, etc. And amazing music came out back then. Not just the soundboard technology they had to work with in the studios back then. That was a good key point. The development in the studios."
Dude, we're so hanging out at Glam Fest next year.
Yeah, that's going to be cool. What do we got? Operation Minecraft from Rowan there. Darren's gone the Wines, gone to Dave's. That happened a while ago. Lisa Operation Minecraft.
I'm empty. I'm not.
Here we go. BB's asking, what suburb are you all in? We're all over the place in Melbourne. I'm in Mill Park.
Preston. I'm up in Preston.
Yep.
In the north.
I'm near Moorabbin.
Near Moorabbin for Dave. And Jeff, where are you at these days?
I literally, as of today, just moved back to Cranbourne.
There you go. Yeah. And I used to live in Cranbourne. So yeah. Bash says, "I agree, Dave. Experiencing songs that didn't connect, listening to a record come to life live." So there we go. That's a good point. Then
I love a live show where they pull out an album cut. It's just like, fuck, I got to go back and hear that.
Yeah, definitely. Vinny says, "Cross Purposes, especially that was a cracker. That was really good."
Yeah, Eyewitness.
And Darren here, he's gone Sabotage, my favorite Sabbath album. So there we go.
Symptom of the Universe in itself is a fucking beautiful song.
That is a great track. And Jolene Turner did Deep Purple. Ian Gillan on Born Again. Actually, that's an underrated album. That is a really
good one. Yeah. Do you know how the story of that album, how it happened?
Yeah, but the album artwork sucks. But the album is good.
It was literally they were drunk, and he agreed. I'll do it. And then he had to.
Yeah, I know. He got the phone call going, "Where are you?" He's like, "Oh, hang on, that was real." Like, so fucking bizarre. But it was cool. And the stories of the recording, like how loaded they were when they were doing it, was fucking hilarious. The car crash and all that kind of shit. Like, so to be a fly on the wall for those sessions would be absolutely hilarious.
Yeah.
Absolutely hilarious. Oh, we got someone new on Twitch. Bass Birdworm. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us on Twitch. Hello back. We don't get a lot of Twitch, but we're grateful when we do see him. So thank you for jumping in and good to see you. Hopefully you're enjoying the night. Dean, I see you there, Dave, when it comes to Glam Fest. He's in Sunbury. So there we go. Michael says, Angels Taco in cinemas this week for 1 week. Caught it that after the other day at Cameo, kicking down the door, it's called. Oh, nice. That's nice. I'll check that one out there.
I'm popping up. Keep going. Start the next review.
Okay. All right, we will in a second. Vinny says, I'm in a penthouse in Werribee. Smell that fresh air. Good luck with that. Nicole says, I'm in Queensland. Yes, we know that. It's warmer up there at least. It's still, I can't believe it's summer down here. It's still cold. BP, what's near Moorabbin? An airport?
No, not much.
I think it's Dunkley area. I think.
Right.
Vinny says I'd have Miley Cyrus on this concept album. Always wanted to listen to a Bugs Bunny full length album. All I can think of is Who Framed Roger Rabbit right now for some reason. But anyway, BP's in Castlemaine, nice. Darren's in Cranbourne. We had quite the Cranbourne following for a while there, which was an interesting time. Bass Birdworm, cool. Blasting AC/DC at 6 a.m. Let us know where you are. I don't know where you are at 6 a.m. in the morning, so let us know where you are. But thank you for joining us. Hopefully you're having a good morning if it's not night. So hopefully it's all going well over there for you. All right, are you both ready to jump in and do a review with us tonight? We've got a couple of them here. We're going to start with Yngwie Malmsteen, then move on to Dream Theater. So Dave's going to splurge himself stupid tonight. All right, so while Dave's topping up, I'll do the preamble. So in the comments and in the description, as always, we're going to put a little link there for you, a reference track. This is Yngwie Malmsteen with Teaser, which was the one and only single from this album. So that's your reference track, is Yngwie Malmsteen with Teaser. The album we're going to talk about is Yngwie Malmsteen with Fire and Ice. It's on its 30th anniversary this year. 14 tracks for 64 minutes. The sixth studio album from the Swedish guitarist, released February 1992 via Elektra Records. Produced by Yngwie himself at studios in Miami and Stockholm. One single was released in Teaser. And the album peaked number 121 in the US, number 1 in Japan, though. And while also doing okay in Europe. It's been certified gold in Japan, met with mixed reviews upon release, but is one of those, the 2 Patreon choice album reviews we're doing for this final stream of the year. Let's see how this one goes over the course of the process. Let's go to Jeff first. Listen, how did you go with this album? What are your thoughts?
Well, this album is obviously one of 2 with Goran Edman as the vocalist. And
yes.
Eclipse, I felt Eclipse was a stronger album. And this felt like all the songs that didn't make it on the album to Eclipse, they end up recording for this. I think it's an all right album. It's got some interesting stuff. And in fact, arguably one of Malmsteen's last few great albums, really. I think his first 5 or 6 albums was his best. And then he went, he came back a little bit with Facing the Animal in 98 or 97, just a little bit. Yeah. And then it was downhill again,
I think it's a great depth, to be honest.
Well, I mean, look, he's lost. That's the problem with Malmsteen. I think he's lost the ability to how to write a song. He can't write a song anymore. It's just, and it's just masturbation, and it's how fast can you go? There's no room for breathing, and I think Fire and Ice is not that. I think Fire and Ice is actually there are songs on Fire and Ice, and he does play. But something happened, something clicked in his head. I don't know what it was, and it was just like, hey, let's just fire everybody. I'll get a singer. No, I'll do the singing, and he's terrible singing. He's an absolutely shocking singer. Wait, don't sing, just play, don't sing.
Yeah.
I've seen Malmsteen. I've spoken to him a couple times.
Okay.
Just from the crowd. Like I went to behind. I had the backstage pass thing. He did a guitar clinic thing back in 2013 that I went to.
Yep.
And I asked him. I asked him a question. It was about he had these Seymour Duncan pickups that he was promoting, and the YJMs. And I'm a lefty, right? So I'm a lefty. So unfortunately, the poles on the pickup are staggered. So they're up, down, up, down, up, down, and they're meant for very specific strings. So if you're a righty, they work perfectly. But if you're a lefty, the poles are in the wrong spot for the string. So I said, well, is there any chance of getting a left-handed version? Are you going to come out with that? And he basically just said to me, he said, give Seymour a call and he'll sort you out. I'm like, I've got him on Mosquito. Thanks, dude.
He lives in a different world. Yeah. Different world.
Yeah, but guys, sorry, I digress. Fire and Ice is a good album. but not a great album. I think it's got a few good songs, and it's one of the last albums that we got of Yngwie actually writing songs, because after this, shortly after this, is just masturbation, as I said.
Yep.
Yeah. So I love the guy. I do. I mean, I've saw him twice, so I mean, I must like him. I wouldn't pay money to go see him.
Yeah, exactly.
But
Yep.
you know, yeah. Eclipses this album by far.
Yeah. Okay. So what would you give this one out of 10?
6.
Okay. Cool.
6.
That's all right.
I think it's above average.
Yep.
But it's not a great album. I think when you get into 7 and 8, then it's great, and then 9 and 10, it's like amazing. You have to have it. It's not one of them.
Okay.
So,
Cool.
yeah.
Nice. Let's jump around. Let's go to Dave, and then we'll get Conrad after that. So, Dave, Fire and Ice.
All right. It's been a long time since I've heard this album, probably over 25 years. And as far as virtuoso guitarists go, I do prefer Joe Satriani and Steve Vai. I do like Yngwie. I think he cops a lot of unnecessary criticism, and I did a phone interview with him a few years ago. He's actually really nice to talk to. I was expecting him to be a complete prick, but really happy to talk and chat. But as far as his music goes, I can see some people might struggle with recent stuff. I'm not up with everything he's released, but his earlier stuff, as Jeff was saying, is definitely where you would want to stick with. Now, a lot of people in general kind of struggle with instrumental guitar music. So this has a singer. So this might be a bit easier for you to digest since there's a singer. Most people, not me. For me, the vocals are wasted space in between guitar solos. In fact, this is why I prefer Steve Vai and Joe Satriani. They're unashamedly worshipping the guitar. You don't have to waste space with fucking lyrics. As much as I love lyrics, if I'm going for one of these guys, I want just fucking guitar worship. Show me what you can do. Moods, emotion, different scales, and fucking feeling, and all that type of stuff. There's no doubt Yngwie is the star. This is why you listen to this album. I don't even know who the singer is. I'm sure he's a nice guy and everything. I'm sure. I'm not being a prick, but I don't care. I don't. I want to hear Yngwie.
Goran Edmund. There you go. There's your education. Goran Edmund. All right.
Great song.
Yngwie,
wow.
He's playing. Whether Yngwie is playing slow or fast, the clarity of his notes, it doesn't change. He knows what he's doing, man. Opens up with Perpetual, pretty cool instrumental track. Very cool. It's a great instrumental opening. The guitar tone is beautiful. Dragonfly gets down to business with the vocals, and as I said, there's nothing wrong with the singer, but we don't need the singer. But okay, when you got a guitar player like Yngwie, you want a singer on the same level that cuts through like he does. And Yngwie's up here, the singer's maybe just getting in there a little bit. It's not a good pick. There are much better singers that are like virtuoso. They can do for singing what Yngwie can do for the guitar, and it's just not there.
Or Dave, hear me out. You could just write a song.
You could, but then you could just play your guitar. You don't need the rest of the band.
Dude,
listen to Teaser.
Teaser is a radio track with Yngwie noodling all over the fucking thing. You can do both.
It's a guitar. That's cool. I used to say, what do you call somebody who hangs around for group of musicians? A drummer. But these days, I say the turntable guy in Slipknot.
Nice road.
There we go.
At least the drummer's a real fucking musician. The guy playing turntables in Slipknot, he's a fucking poser. I want to go to Knotfest. I want to get right up the front and say, learn the real instrument, you fucking poser. Anyway, back to Yngwie.
Okay.
Teaser, not a good song. The solo, fucking brilliant. Other than that, not good. Just listen to the solo. But then you have a song like How Many Miles to Babylon? It's an epic 6 minutes. A subtle intro, it builds up. And this is what I want from this album. Obviously, the solo, very cool. Cry No More.
That song is a good song. It's not just
that
a
is
solo.
a good song. I don't care about the lyrics though. I really don't. And I love lyrics. I bang on about has to be a good emotive song. Not in this. I don't care. I want to hear Yngwie play. Then you got a song like Cry No More. Awesome intro guitar solo. Keep them coming, Yngwie. This is what I want. This is really cool.
Wow.
And the classical influence in that midsection, that classical and rocks really works really well together if it's done well. And I think Yngwie really did pioneer what a lot of people took on board with symphonic metal and took into a completely different generation. Because I know it kind of touched upon it before Yngwie, but he really made it kind of cool. But
he made neoclassical more accessible. Yeah,
he did. There's a lot to discover in this album. After this, the 90s happened, and to be honest, I don't think I heard an album from him after this for a very long time. There's 14 songs on this track, and there's a lot, by today's standards, there's a lot to consume. In 1992, the CD was taken over from vinyl. You had the benefits of 78 minutes per disc. But if the singer would shut the fuck up, I would enjoy this a lot more. Apart from that, it's a pretty good album. 7 out of 10. Perpetual, How Many Miles to Babylon, Cry No More, Leviathan, and Fire and Ice are the standouts. As long as the singer shuts the fuck up.
Oh, God. Okay. Conrad, you want to follow that up?
I agree with some of Dave's points maybe on this. I found this dull. I found this dull. It was it's just boring. I just didn't grasp me at all. It sounds dated. I mean, it's dated.
It does.
92, I think there was so much happening at that point. You had, obviously, Metallica Black Album had come out, Nirvana's
world was changing.
The grunge thing had happened. So this sounds quite dated. It sounds like a bit sort of like the
86 or 87
Sunset Strip sort of stuff a little bit, and it just doesn't. Where's the songs? You know, I want sing-along sort of songs, and he just doesn't write songs. And as far as getting a decent singer that could match him, there's no way he would fucking tolerate that.
That's it. That's why it hasn't worked.
Outshined. He's not going to be outshined by
that's why he.
Jeff Scott Soto's not, probably
that's
not
it.
because Jeff Scott Soto's an incredible singer, and he's probably not going to be happy sharing the spotlight, with a great singer. So there you are. I mean, he's not going to allow a brilliant singer to come in and share his spotlight.
I completely agree with that.
That's just not how he rolls,
That's it. It's there for everyone to see. Actions speak louder than words. His actions say a lot.
Oh, yeah. He's very difficult. He's notoriously difficult to work with. And, I mean, there's a reason he's not in a band.
Yes.
There's
a reason why he produces his own music.
There's a reason it's the Yngwie Malmsteen show because he's impossible to work with, That's... Some people love him for that. He's eccentric, and we love him for that. He's brilliant. He's an incredible guy. I wish I could play guitar like him, But then I might say, people might turn around to him and say, well, can you write a song?
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. You can be a brilliant musician, technically, but can you write a song? Can you write an album of songs, And that's where
I do agree with that.
Comes down. I think Malmsteen can't write an album full of songs, And that's my 2 cents worth of it.
Anything out of 10? A rough score
I'll
out of
give
10?
it 3.
Wow. Here we go. We're getting some different opinions here tonight.
Well, I was brutal.
No, that's good. I like
him. He makes me look good.
He's up there playing guitar, and I'm not. So he's made a successful career. He's made a successful career, and I haven't. So in music, and I haven't. So until I put an album out, until I pull out an album out myself, maybe Malmsteen will review my album and fucking can it.
Oh man, could you imagine Malmsteen reviewing anything we've ever done? Fuck, that'd be hilarious.
A donut.
All right. For me, I've come into this album from a very different point of view in that my experiences with Yngwie have been notoriously bad. Every album I've heard has been of the later stuff, not the earlier stuff. And so I've come into this with the bar so fucking low, it's insane. So my thoughts on this are very tempered by that. So having come in from albums where we've called this thing being produced by a potato with a potato, so for work he's done in the past, that's a Dennis quote right there. He has seriously produced one of the worst albums I've reviewed on the show, and I'm not even saying that as an exaggeration. Some of it's just fucking bin worthy for a decade, just beyond. This album is a lot better than those, a lot better. So I haven't, because my experiences have been so negative, I go into such trepidation, and I struggle with guitar-centric albums. I want songs. I can handle guitar work for a period of time. Dave knows me so well that when it comes to a guitar instrumental album, I'm like, oh, fuck. What am I going to get? Because I can't do the non-stop noodling for 90 minutes. It does my fucking head in. I can't listen to it. I've been open on that for years. But so this one having songs and an actual flow was, fuck yes, I can deal with this. Now, is it the world's best thing? No. Is it dated as fuck? Yes. This was released in 92. It sounds like it was done in 86 or 87.
Yes.
Production has not helped it over the years. It's a solid mix without being a vibrant mix. It's a really thin sounding one when you get into it. Like there's separation with the bass and the top end, but the mids just got scooped. And I don't know why. That's weird to me because it almost feels like he was backing off the vocalist, which in turn was cutting off your nose, spite your face, because the mids is where the guitar lives. So it was a bit sort of weird.
Of course he was cutting out the vocalist.
I know. I get that. But that's where it's like, come on, just listen to the whole product. Don't just make it about one thing. So, but all that said, those criticisms are valid and fair. But there's also some good songs to be had in this one. I think How Many Miles to Babylon is a really good one. I thought that's a really solid song, just from top to bottom. That when this thing clicks and it flows and the songs are good, like on that moment, that's a really good moment there, and it actually gives me more appreciation because this album shows me more than I've really experienced before that he can play and flash and be cooperative within the song as opposed to just going off and whatever the hell he does. That said, as has been said, he's a brilliant guitarist. I can't play anything fucking like him. I used to teach. I've never seen anyone do what he does. Like, he's one of a kind. But the ability to write a song is very different to the ability to play a million notes. So that's where I would say that point is important to note. I think the performances in this are really good, even though the vocals are a bit sort of back. But around Yngwie, the lineup is solid. The songs all work. Now, is everyone a virtuoso? No, because Yngwie won't have virtuosos. He wants to be the virtuoso. But in the context of what's going on, the talent is certainly there. And these songs have, when they work, they hold up well over the decades. Now, the sound sort of is a bit rough on it, but that sounds harsh, actually. It's well balanced. It's just a bit thin. But you hear everything. The performances are good. The writing, when it clicks, is good. It does have about, 3 or 4 songs or maybe more too long in the overall scheme of things. By the time you get to sort of like the 45, 50-minute mark, about the usual cap for an album, and this goes for an hour plus, it's like, yeah. And especially when the back is sort of
same towards the end.
Yeah, the last few tracks was like, give me something. Like, it was just sort of like, okay, cool. It's songs, which is good, which I'm taking as a breath of fresh air. But the flip side is that does get very samey toward the end of the album. So starts off.
Young write songs. Yngwie plays guitar. That's what we want.
No, I want songs, Dave. You can have the guitar wankery all you want. But I want songs. We've gone from concept albums. We've gone from concept albums where you're fucking debating one thing to this, and you're going, give me fucking wankery. I'm like, no, fuck off with the wankery. I want songs. I want storytelling and narrative.
The best type of wankery there is.
And if you tell me that Yngwie plays with feel, I'm going to go spew. Like, he
plays fucking fast and clear.
That's his one wood, and he's only wood.
Dream Theater play with feel, and I won't have anyone say otherwise.
He's got one tool. That's it. One tool.
He's got one. Yeah. He's very, very good at it, but he's got one trick in the bag.
That's right.
And there's nothing wrong with that either, by the way. There's nothing wrong
Classical
with that.
violinist or a classical pianist or whatever fucking classical instrument. They got one tool.
Dave, you remember the name Mozart? You don't remember the first violinist he had playing for him?
No one cares. I don't care about the singer of Yngwie's band. Yngwie plays good. I don't care about his singer.
Anyway.
Yeah, Cinderella said in the comments, he said, that Yngwie probably played the bass, and he probably did because you can't have a bass player outside. That's right. Yeah.
He ended up singing.
Yeah. If he could play the drums, he'd do it. If he could play drums, he would do that too.
I mean,
I think on one album I reviewed, he did.
Really? Wow. I didn't know that.
I think I might be wrong, but if he didn't, they're so badly mixed, it's not funny. So it's just what the hell.
I mean, I'm sure there are guitar players watching this who worship guitar players out there who worship Malmsteen and probably want us lynched for what we're saying about him. But
probably. Wouldn't be the first time.
Yeah,
come on. I'll say Satriani is way better than Malmsteen.
If people think that what I'm saying tonight is bad, I've said a lot worse than this. Go back and Google it. It's fine.
So I'm agreeing with
Joe Satriani is way better than Yngwie Malmsteen.
The funny thing is that I'm saying this album is a better experience for me. So take that for what it's worth.
Wow.
Now, what I found really cool was there are different things like the Eastern element in the track C'est La Vie. That was a nice touch on this one as well. Like there were different tones and modes being brought into these songs. So when he plays in composition terms and naturally writes songs with and for the other people in the band, it all works. And back then, he obviously had that knack. It's been faded over and over the years, but on this album, it was there. Again, not for everything, but it was for a lot of it, which was cool. But at the same time, the opening track on this one, Perpetual, is a great blistering opener. So you get those instrumental moments you want. You get the songs where everyone's there. So you get those bits and pieces. You get the flash. You get the songs. There's a bit of mud in between all this sort of stuff, but overall, it's not a bad album. And for me, coming into this from very low expectations to getting this, I was actually pleasantly surprised with what I got out of it. And so coming into this from a much lower bar than the stuff being set beforehand, I'm like, okay, this is pretty cool. So I can see why this album was popular with the Patreon voters for this one. Like I said, I do think it's a bit too long. But there were some clever moments here as well. Like I say, when he gets the attention there was more attention to detail than I expected because I'm pretty on albums later than this that I've listened to that like the attention to detail was just lacking. So this one sounds good overall, even though it is a touch. It's been faded out by time, but it does sound it's well balanced to a point. I mean, I said the mids are bad, but the tones are there. But the songs are pretty solid overall, and the playing is. It is what it is. Like you can't knock the playing ability. Like if you're going to sit there and say you can't play, you're a wanker. Like he can play. He can play better than all of us put together, I would say. But that ability to write songs is more present on this one, which is what impressed me more than the rest. That said, I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10, probably the highest score of the night, but not a bad score either. It's just one of those ones where it's sort of, it makes me curious enough to go and check out the stuff before this one, especially in light of what's being said about the earlier albums being much better than this one. So, Jeff's talking about Eclipse, for example. I want to go and check that out because I've stayed so clear because of bad experience and like, fuck it. But Eclipse is getting a rave review from Jeff, for example, saying that is a much better album than this. This album was actually pretty cool. So I want to go and check out Eclipse to go and see if there's more from Yngwie that I've missed because I've been biased against because of later albums tainting my point of view. So that said, this is a bit of a gateway one for me in that respect. So 7.5 out of 10. How Many Miles to Babylon? I think it's great, but also No Mercy and C'est La Vie were other standouts for me on this one as well. Just some good hooks, and that's where if you pay attention, there are memorable hooks for those songs, and it wasn't the guitar work; it was the stories and the melody that got my attention more than the guitar work. Dave,
just be wrong occasionally. It's okay.
Let's see what comments we got out of this one. Before we do, Base Birdworm in Houston, Texas. Good to see you over there. Hopefully you enjoyed that.
Yeah.
We just went on for 20 minutes there. Hopefully you enjoyed that one, but good to see you from getting some international viewers, which is cool. Sensory Sarah, good evening. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us. Hopefully you're well. Latecomers are always welcome. Rowan says, I love this album and listening to it over the past week. Can't get enough of it. Love Gore and especially the album prior to this one, Eclipse. Again, more praise for Eclipse. I've got to go and check that out, obviously.
Yeah. Eclipse is just better.
Yeah, Rowan says my favorite Vi album is the one with Devin Townsend and vocals. Now Vi and Townsend is a good combo. Here we go. Baseball, a great guitar solo is like a chef's kiss on a great song. Completely agree with that. That is a good statement. Agree with that. It's complimentary. Darren says Malmsteen's one of my favorite guitarists ever, but he lost the plot when he started trying to sing. He needed to have a Scott Soto or Jolene Turner who could write decent songs. Agree. Yeah. Rowan also says, shame the album with Jorn Landy never happened. That would be fantastic. That would have been great. That's a pairing that would be great. Dean says Dave reviews. There we go. And the wine is hit Dave again. No, this is nothing like last week. Got another one to go yet. Bass says, but some songs are like McDonald's and the guitarists are like five-star chefs. Well, there we go. Yeah, that's a good point too. Here we go. Vinny says last week he murdered Blackie. This week Goran cops it. So
that's the best comment I've read in ages. That's awesome.
Murder Blackie. I love Blackie.
I love everyone's talking about every other album except this one. Except for was it Rowan? Yeah. Trilogy is my favorite Yngwie album from Darren. Okay, cool. I'll have to check that out. Yeah. Basher says cheap wine and a 3-day growth. Well, that's about where we're all at these days.
That makes me feel better.
I was clean shaven yesterday.
Yeah. You're doing all of us by a long way. Twitch, did Elon rename Twitter? No, not yet, BP. We're streaming to Twitter and Twitch at the same time, so they're different platforms. Anyway, Vinny says teaser sounds like it's a backing track for Johnny Lawrence to catcall babes to. Actually, fair point. Baseword said the Sid shade is a low blow for Slipknot. There we go. Well, Dave has track record in this regard. Here we go. Bella says Odyssey was Malmsteen's best. A tolerable level of guitar wankery, but good songs and singing. Again, another one I haven't really checked out.
He's spot on. That is the best album he did.
Okay.
Right, Odyssey.
Guitar wankery.
There we go. Let's check out Odyssey then, Bill.
Songs, beautiful songs, and amazing songs. Yeah.
Guitars, man.
No, if you haven't heard Andrew, if you've not heard Odyssey, just skip the clips and go to Odyssey.
Okay.
Seriously, it's the album before it, and it's got Jolene Turner on vocals. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
So nice. It's amazing. It's amazing.
So it was more like an actual band writing songs together.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
Okay.
And
I'd be very keen.
Yngwie couldn't have that, so he fired Joe. See how can't have me writing songs. Come on, I just want to play guitar,
All right, well, no, I'll have to check out Odyssey then. Okay, Bell has hit the nail on the head for everyone apparently, so Odyssey it is. I'll have to go and check it. Now I've got some time off from this side of things coming up in theory. I've got some listening time to just sort of do whatever with, so I might just go and check that out over the next coming weeks. Rowan says, can he write a song? Well, I love the songs from most of his first albums, but that's me. I'd give this one a 9.5 anyway. Well, there we go. There are people that love it, clearly.
Fair enough.
So, that's 9.5. What would you give a 10? Holy shit.
That's a question.
Yeah, but Christian Idol's better than Operation Mindcrime.
Oh, here we go. Let's not get into this one. Dave, for fuck's sake, know your limits. Anyway, Vinny says OnlyFans Conrad, you'll eclipse Yngwie in no time. So there we go.
Well, thank you. I'll take that as a compliment.
Yeah, that's a good one, mate. Basebird say it's hard to beat Clown. He's a savage. Now, his work as just, even if you don't like what he
composer, he's not a musician.
No, Dave, that's no. I won't agree with
Scratching
that.
a fucking record is not a musician.
No, that's Sid. Clown's percussion.
I'm with Dave on this. I will go to Slipknot with Dave just to get down the front and throw shit at that dude that's spinning decks.
Yeah, that's Sid. That's Sid. That's Sid, not Clown.
And the dude doing percussion, I'm going to say, you sound like Lars Ulrich on Saint Anger.
Yes. Well, hitting the what is
the kegs.
Yeah. Cut a third of their lineup and they're a good band.
Oh, here we go.
How many members are in this? It's like 10 or something? I mean, it's like crazy number.
There's 9.
There's 9.
Yeah,
see,
9.
They've got 2 percussionists and a turntable. Unnecessary.
It's completely unnecessary. But, they wouldn't, because they were established, they can afford to pay them. But if they were up and coming, you could not have 10 or 9 people in the band.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be able to afford to pay
Not now.
anybody.
No.
It's like being a ska band.
The guy playing the
band.
probably the dude with the band that got them transported. We probably had a rehearsal space. Like, okay, you can be in the band. Scratch those records. We need a place to hang out.
We've got Dream Theater to get through yet, so let's put Peg in that one. Okay. Sensory Sarah said, a woman said to me once that she didn't like guitar solo part songs because it was boring, and I just about gagged my heart up. She listens to experimental jazz. What? How do you go from that to that?
How do you not like solos if you listen to jazz?
I'm
Dump
confused
it, dude.
by that.
Dude.
Yeah. This is now, love songs,
relationship advice. All down the music.
Someone once said to me,
Dude.
yeah, that could be a different segment. But anyway, so a dangerous one always. Dean says produced by a potato coming of the year. Well, that was some of the albums we've done with Yngwie before. Vinny says I need a recovery time to be able to noodle for that long, or at least help with a little blue pill. Well, yes, that could be all of us, especially when one woman says to us at one time. Then we got Rowan says Malmsteen probably would have played the bass on the recording as well. There we go. That's the comment you were referencing there before, Jeff. Darren says try Rising Force to me, Marching Out and Trilogy, the first 3. Okay,
Rising Force is cool.
I'm getting some education here. Oh, BP says Malmsteen or Nugent. Oh, shit.
Well, Nugent's a wanker. For one. In my opinion, Nugent is a gun-toting wanker who beats women. I forget. So I'll take Malmsteen, thank you. He's a Republican wanker. Yeah, he's best friends with Donald Trump.
Now, can you imagine? But hang on, though. Can you imagine those two doing like a talking session, like a Q&A session at the same time? Fuck, it'd be pandemonium. It would be absolute pandemonium. You'd get nothing done, but it'd be pandemonium. It'd be funny. To which Darren says Malmsteen. Rowan's also recommending a clip facing the animal. Bass Birdworm says a long guitar wank is a gift. Don't hate. We're trying not to. I want to hear the other stuff before I go and go.
I love a good guitar wank.
Dave, you just like a good wank.
Don't judge.
Don't judge.
You walked yourself straight into that one. Dean says, what's happening with this review? It's going off the rails like everything we do here. It's the last one for the year, so that's it. Now, Darren's got a good one here. If you want Field Gary Moore as a fucking man,
yes.
I'll agree with.
Stupid and Thin Lizzy, enough said.
Yes.
Yeah, Gary Moore was a legend. Yeah.
Rowan says Mozart's first violinist was named Barry, by the way. I want proof. Picture it didn't happen, Rowan. What do we got here? He says, like an old married couple, these two, give me noodling. No, talk to me. Get a room, you two. Not going to happen. We do have one, but you're in it. Mal's gone, I'm lost. Yngwie sang for Mozart. Now, that would be something different. He says, do they know us watching? Oh, we're going through the comments. Rowan says, Vi and Satch are definitely much better guitarists than Malmsteen, much nicer people too. Can't speak from experience, so whatever. Michael says, Dio was asked once if he'd get Malmsteen to play guitar, and he said it was probably too big to start to want to play with Dio. One way of putting it. Wow.
They did play together, though. They did a cover together, Dream On. They did Aerosmith's Dream On. Yeah.
That's fucking terrible. No,
it wasn't a great cover, but they did.
No. Dio was all right. He didn't have the same emotive content as Steven Tyler does, but Yngwie is playing that just it overplayed. You didn't need it. The original is so much better. And it's such a fucking you can't touch that song, man. Fuck.
Mine's been blown by the hypocrisy. Sally says 1-2 ponies are only entertaining for a small amount of time. If you ask me, he's boring. Well, there we go. There's Sally. Rowan says Spotlight on Eclipse, my favorite Malmsteen song. Okay, there's a good one. I'll have to check that out as well.
The actual band eclipses everything else. So.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Vinny says, great to be able to incorporate masturbation into an album review. However, Andrew, I'm using it in my everyday life from now on. You're more than welcome to. Go for it. Whatever makes you happy, mate.
All for the best of
them. To each his own. Yeah.
Yes. OnlyFans. Go for it. Rowan says, if you want a sense of what Yngwie Malmsteen might have been like, check out Mundanus Imperium's first album, The Spectral Sphere's Coronation, which is Yngwie neoclassical. Ooh, okay. Very curious about that one.
I checked that out, yeah.
Okay.
Darren's agreeing. Odyssey is awesome. Sally says, nah, there'll be no throwing stuff at Sid, guys. Clowns kill them trying to save your life right now. Yeah, I saw Insane Clown Posse as well. I've seen them both. I've seen lots of clowns doing different things. Basher says, okay. Guitar albums have a place. Gary Moore's playing as feeling and cuts through your soul, e.g. The Messiah Will Come Again. Yeah, that if this doesn't move you nothing, well, that is a great track. Bay says old jazz is way better now. I think a lot of us will agree that classic jazz is fucking phenomenal. Yep. Rowan says, nice to get a bunch of like-minded people together once a week so we can disagree vehemently. That's kind of the point. Yes. And Darren says, David, not to feel good. Vinny says, Nooch is staying. Dean says, I'm going to check out the other albums. Which one do you recommend?
Rising Forward.
For the comments. Barry
First
pick
five.
from Rowan. Barry, this is the Barry pick. Okay, question without notice. This will be good, actually. BP, favorite guitarist of all time. Let's go to Jeff first.
Randy Rhoads.
Randy Rhoads, yeah, good call. Good call.
Yeah.
Dave?
I didn't have to think about it.
Yeah.
Don't say Slash.
Jimi Hendrix.
Oh.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Conrad.
That's very hard to answer.
It is. It is really hard.
Really hard to answer because there's so many. I'm going to say Mustaine for the influence, not for his technical ability. Well, his technical ability is not freaking bad either, but it's more the style. He invented a style.
Yeah.
Invented a style. So I'll say that. Yeah. So his invention of a style.
Yeah.
But there are other players out there that are technically better, but I think
Malmsteen for one. Yeah.
Yeah, well, technically better. There's a lot of technically better players.
There's a lot of technically better players, but as far as but then again, you could take someone like David Gilmour as well. Who's amazing, who's incredible, and plays with so much feeling. So
yeah. But how many albums has he done? Massive albums.
Yeah.
I mean, in fact, Gilmour said it best, and he said it's not about how many notes you play, it's about the spaces in between the notes, where you place the spaces in between the notes. That's so very true.
Malmsteen must not have been at school that day.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. Malmsteen would have got more is more.
And he said that, yeah. How can it be less is more? How can it be no more is more? Yeah. He's famous for it.
Yeah, he doesn't understand that concept of letting it breathe.
It's important. The notes you don't play are as important as the notes you do play.
Okay, listen. You have to listen to the notes she's not playing. Oh, I could have done that at home.
Oh my God, here we go. All right, Simpson. For me, it's actually funny that Gilmour was brought up because he's right up there for me and probably would be, to be honest. Yes. But I've also, people that know me know that I've always gravitated to rhythm guitar, not lead guitar. So if I could take a top three, it'd be Dave Gilmour. Just if I had to pick one, that'd be the one I'd go to. But otherwise, I'd actually probably go with Hetfield or Jerry Cantrell. I just love what they can do with the guitar because for me, the rhythm is what makes it. Oh, sorry. I was going to say before that on that note, Malcolm Young as well, because just if I could take a top four then, because I can't do a top one because they're all very different to each other.
Exactly.
Yeah. But if you could do a top sort of 4 or 5 kind of thing, I'd do that because, which would be another topic for actually to do another day. That would be a good one. But those ones for different reasons. But because I've always gravitated to rhythm, that's why I've never been. We just had Malmsteen. I'm talking about how I'm not really. Solos are great if they fit. I don't really care about how many notes you can play. But that's why I love David Gilmour because of the feel that he employs and that sort of stuff. And the other guys. The rhythm section, what drives songs to me is what's important to me when I'm listening to a song. So that's where I come from on that argument there, BP. So hopefully that gave you Sorry?
I just wanted to say something. I mean, with you like Gilmore, obviously, and that's fantastic. But he's not really known for his rhythms. It's leads and acoustics.
No, but he's the one that stands out to me for the lead part. Like not many do, but because he's feely so outstanding, I put Gary Moore in the same kind of point there.
Oh yeah, it's great. I mean, there's no question.
And if you're talking rhythm, nobody ever mentions Pete Townsend, but the stuff he does on Pinball Wizard, just when to articulate an actual downbeat or an upbeat, it's off, and nobody ever talks about him, and he's fantastic.
Yeah. But also the guitarists that I'm talking about here, in terms of both Dave Gilmour, he's like Eddie Van Halen for me. As soon as you hear the tone, you know who it is straight away. Not many can say that. Like you hear a tone, you go, I know who that is instantly. And Dave Gilmour for me is one of those ones. With Eddie Van Halen, I put them both neck and neck for just the instant recognizability of the tone that they have when they play. Now, Eddie Van Halen's fantastic. I can't believe he hasn't been mentioned by any of us either. But for me, it's just what speaks to you most, and that's what gets my attention. But yeah, there we go. Dean says, old classic jazz is great. If it wasn't for that, Miles Kennedy wouldn't be a musician and a guitarist. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Dean says Stevie Ray Vaughan for him.
Yes.
Nice.
Yes. The only dude that had no fucking skin on his fingers.
Yes, true. Gary Moore, Friday on my mind. Leisurely wandering, wankering right there, possibly blistering. There we go. Darren agrees. Randy Rhoads, may he rest in peace. Dean says, but Malcolm Young is my biggest inspiration. That's true. BP, Rory Gallagher.
What a player.
Inspiration.
Yes, definitely. Rowan says, I think we're going to go with Satch with Vi and Ronnie Letecro as runner-ups. Nice. Oh, nice one, Andrew. Jeff Loomis.
Yes.
Great player.
Oh, fuck. The name escapes me. Alex Skolnick from Testament. The solo on Return to Serenity. They're a thrash band. They shouldn't have that type of emotion in a fucking song, but Return to Serenity, holy shit.
That's because Alex Skolnick was a Satch student, and he's a jazz.
He's a jazz guitar.
He's a jazz guitar. Yeah.
Dude certainly knew what he was doing.
Comes from that school of, Berkeley. He was one of the Berkeley kids. Yeah, so came out of that.
Nice. Sally says, by the way, there are two people in Slipknot that used the turntable to do with the spikes out of his head, and Craig, City's crazy, so there we go. Anyway, Darren says Randy Rhoads, may rest in peace. Nicola says Stevie Ray Vaughan and BB King. BB King, nice call there.
BB King. Wow. John Lee Hooker have thrown it out there.
I'll say another.
Keep going, Dave. Keep going. I'll be back in a sec.
Another one out there that we were mentioning. Actually, I'll wait till Andrew gets back for that because he's going to
somebody has to say something.
Like that. But I'll wait for that. So I'll wait.
We can bring it up again. Go on.
Somebody else can jump in with something. Say something else.
Yeah, Jeff told me not to say it, but Slash knows what he's fucking doing. He's a great guitar player.
He's a great guitar player, but he's not. I think Slash is an amazing guitar player, and Guns N' Roses wouldn't have done anything without him. Really, I think if you had another guitar player, maybe, but who knows? I'm not taking anything away from him. Some people would say he's their favorite guitar player, but I don't know.
But it's Izzy Stradlin that wrote the songs.
You're right.
Not all of them, though. Not all of them, because Slash came up with the riff for Sweet Child O' Mine. Slash wrote fucking Coma.
Yeah, he did. It was a mistake. He didn't even like playing it. He said, "This is crap."
I thought he was just like the lead guy. He just did the leads, and that was it. And,
he wrote plenty of riffs.
I thought it was more.
Kirk Hammett.
Is he doing more the riff writing?
Yeah, Izzy did a lot of the cool riffs, but Slash certainly wrote some of the songs. But as I said, Kirk Hammett, he did some fucking great solos on the early Metallica stuff. People like to overlook it.
He's been strangling cats for the last 20 years.
We all know Dave wrote them all.
Yes.
My nickname in high school was Hammett. Right, because I looked a bit like Kirk Hammett. I used to have the long hair and the curly, obviously face, forget it, But I like Kirk Hammett, but he doesn't know how to play a solo without a wah pedal. Every single solo was a wah pedal, wah pedal, wah pedal.
Not initially though. You think now, but you go back to like Master Puppets and back. There wasn't all timbre.
Yeah, no, I know.
Who was he copying? It was copying Master. It was copying Mustaine's leads.
He never touched the fucking wah pedal in his life unless he sold it for drugs.
Oh,
Yeah. Well, don't even go there because Slash got rid of all his guitars for drugs.
yeah.
So there you go. Yeah.
Yeah, but he eventually got it back though.
Some of them.
I was going to say, sorry, I was going to mention somebody before you walked away, and that was, Mark Knopfler.
Oh,
yes.
Okay.
This doesn't use a pick, man. How the fuck do you do that shit?
Yeah.
What a player. He's just amazing. Yeah.
He plays with feeling.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Gotta say
Jeff Beck, everyone.
Scott Gorham, man. Guys from fucking Thin Lizzy and Trivium. Your Guitar Attack and Trivium. They're fucking great.
I think you'll get really good ones in a 3-piece because the space is there and they have to.
Alex Lifeson.
Alex
Lifeson absolutely is another one. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Quickly rattle through some more comments here. What do we got? Dean says, I'm a rhythm guitarist. Guy Malcolm is on top. We're going for top rhythm guitarist, but Hetfield is definitely number 2. Boy, it's hard. They're all unique in their ways, which is very, very true. Darren says Eddie Van Halen top 2, which, we did get to that eventually. Bell, Dimebag does for me. He's got such a unique sound. Very true. Live, he was something else too. Like he was actually you just see him and he was just fucking mind-blowing live. Bash says Jimmy Page, Gary Moore, Tony Iommi, Al DiMiola.
We can be friends, man. Fucking love Al DiMiola.
And I gotta say Brian May.
I love Brian May.
He was unique, man. He was really unique.
Underrated, Brian May.
He built that guitar. He built that.
That's right. Him and his dad did. That's right.
Yeah, he built that. That's why he sounds like no one else.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
They literally wound the pickups with copper wire.
But on that list is also Gilmore, Satriani, and Eddie Van Halen. Vinny says Morello would be up there. Interesting choice.
He would be, actually. Yep.
Interesting. Floyd says, Michael says Floyd stuff incredible guitar when Waters had Clapton and Jeff Beck on his solo stuff incredible too. So then Waters, sorry, yep. Dean says get a top 10 favorite lead guitarist and top 10 favorite rhythm guitarist of all time and top for next year. Fuck, that'll be hard. Darren says Gary Moore top 3. Sally says Zach Wilde, Gary Moore for me. Mark Tremonti. Also Tremonti is very, very good. Rowan says Chris DeGamo. Nice choice.
Oh, nice. Good. Yeah.
Dean says George Thorogood is a fantastic guitarist. Saw him in October at the Forum. He was 10 out of 10 live, still in his 70s. Yes, very, very good. Very fun. There we go. Dean says Mark Knopfler, great choice. Grew up with Dire Straits, so there we go. Rowan says probably not group faves, but I've been really into Tim Henson and Charles Caswell's approach to guitar lately. Can't speak much about it, but yeah, interesting to check it out for sure.
Tell you who's worth seeing if you ever get the chance for those guitar players out there. Tommy Emmanuel.
Yes.
Oh,
Is something. I've seen him on an acoustic. I've seen him on acoustic, and he's playing the rhythm section on the top.
He's
and
good.
He's coming up. He's coming up on the leads and goes back down, and he comes up, and he's doing it at the same time, so you can hear the rhythm and the lead at the same time, and then he bends the neck of an acoustic.
Are you lefty?
And he's lefty. He's just gnarly. You know, it's really good. I am.
I can see because you went like that. And I can tell.
Same thing.
I thought of 2 more guitar players, and I actually don't know why I didn't think of them earlier. Because so Jeff Waters from Annihilator, amazing. Okay, and the late great Jeff Healy, a blind guitar player.
Yes.
Yeah.
Amazing guitar player, and incidentally, they were all Canadian as well.
Yeah, we'll do that special as well, Jeff. That's coming.
That's
very old school, but Django Reinhardt, the old gypsy guitarist, only had 2 fingers the rest of Boom. You know, if it wasn't for that dude playing with 2 fingers, Tony Iommi would have given up, and you wouldn't have had Black Sabbath, and you wouldn't have heavy metal. So
because he had given up hope, and then he heard someone give him an album. And
if you listen to some of his stuff, what he pulls off with just 2 fingers is amazing.
Yeah.
Fingers, man.
Oh, Dave goes, take
I
my
can do
strong hand.
two things with 2 fingers.
Oh, the fingers.
Take my strong hand.
The claw.
Dean says Brian May underrated, sitting 3 times. Should get more credit. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Darren says May has a great tone as well. Sensory Sarah says, speaking of thrash, Pantera 2022. We did discuss it earlier on, and it's a good thing. If people want to go and do it, then go for it.
They shouldn't call it Pantera, though.
That's the
No.
thing. And
They should call it Cowboys from Hell. Cowboys from Hell would be
yeah, do that.
name.
Or Blacktooth Grin, something like that. You know what I mean? Cowboys
Anything
Mel,
with Pantera.
Would have been the
Black
right way.
Star
Cowboys
Riders
Mel's a good one,
aren't
actually.
calling themselves Thin Lizzy. Black Star Riders aren't calling themselves Thin Lizzy. They're calling themselves Black Star Riders. Out of respect for Phil Lynott, it's not Thin Lizzy anymore.
That's right.
It's not Pantera without Diamond Vinny. It's just not.
The reason why I think the tour is great, I'm not going to knock him at all. The reason why I don't
Great
like
musicians,
the name,
great lineup.
yeah, it's a solid fucking lineup. We always talk about having Zach do it with the rest of the band.
But
And Charlie's a fucking great drummer.
And Charlie Benanti is perfect fit. But
Yes.
the thing is that the reason why I struggle with the name is because Pantera was broken up. They had Damage Plan, then they had Hell Yeah, and these other things going on. All these projects had other stuff. Pantera never got together with either Abbott brother after it broke up.
Yeah.
And I find it hard to reconcile calling this thing Pantera, that name only. It's just a marketing thing. It's not a talent thing or anything else. It's just a talent. It's just a marketing thing.
I think a lot more people, a lot of diehard Pantera fans would have been more supportive had they called it something. Had they called it
Call it Cowboys from Hell. That's perfect.
Do that. They would have been a lot more supportive of it. The backlash wouldn't have been there.
Yeah.
Not have been there.
It didn't happen after died when Vinny was still alive. Now that Vinny's gone, he was kind of like the gatekeeper. He's gone. He doesn't ever say. It just doesn't.
Well, I mean, I'll be honest. Phil killed that band. Phil ruined that band.
Yeah.
He was the reason that band fell apart. It was him.
Can I throw the cat amongst the pigeons here?
Yep, go for it.
Dave, you love Guns N' Roses. Is Guns N' Roses with Axl Guns N' Roses? Because it was for quite a few years, and there was nobody else.
For a long time, and at the time I was saying it should be just the Axl Rose solo project.
Yeah.
But now that Slash and Duff are back in the band, it works.
I don't consider Chinese Democracy a Guns N' Roses album. That's an Axl Rose album, not a Guns N' Roses.
I agree.
Name.
If it was marketed as an Axl Rose solo project, it probably would have been more accepted at the time. I agree with that 100%. These days, no, it works because the band's playing those songs.
Now they're back together, so it works. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah,
at the time, no. It should have been an Axl Rose solo project. But you don't know if it was getting heat from the recording studio, Geffen Records. They say it has to be a Guns N' Roses album because it will sell more.
Yeah, he owns the
because
right.
there were people at the time that didn't know that Slash wasn't in the band. People weren't as aware as we were because music is our life, but people didn't know Slash left Guns N' Roses, so they see Guns N' Roses, they think it is what it is. So it's a marketing thing.
Maybe, but Chinese Democracy took that long to come out. That whatever
there was still
called Chinese Democracy.
Yeah,
because it was something that was never going to happen. That's why it was called Chinese Democracy.
Anyway, we're into the weeds again. Let me move on. Let me move on. Vinny says James Morrison will be up there on trumpet. Ryan says Tommy Emmanuel. Oh yeah, cool. And Daryl Summers on vocals. Concept band. Thank you. Well done, Vinny. You're tipping well tonight.
Speaking of hey, I got some interesting facts for you.
That was terrible.
Slightly off track. Sorry, we're going off track. I don't know if you remember, but Hey It's Saturday. The guitar player from Danzig, John Christ, came out here and did 2 seasons. He did 2 seasons on Hey It's Saturday.
Wow.
With Wilbur Wild. When he left Danzig after Danzig 4, came out here and did 2 seasons on Hey It's Saturday, and went under the radar. I didn't know that. Went under the radar. No one noticed.
Yeah.
No one noticed. No one fucking twigged. And then you look it up and you'll see on his John Christ, from Danzig. He did 2 seasons of Hey.
Oh,
Right.
you guys are
I
pretty
don't
good.
know.
He went under the radar.
Wow.
And I love his tone. He's got great tone.
Yeah.
His tone is to die for. So yeah.
Wow. All
Yeah.
right. Okay. Nice.
out.
I like the comment there, Vinny, because you're giving us the segues.
Kim Thale. How about Kim Thale?
Yes. Yeah.
Great tone,
Yeah.
great guitar player. Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Very good.
No.
point.
Nope.
No.
That comment should be banned. That's terrible.
I missed that one.
Rowan says, I watched Jeff Healey concert on YouTube once. He played it live.
It's shocking, man. But funny. I like it.
Wow.
We're not known for being overly, PC. But anyway, he says going back, but Chuck Berry with what was going on at the time, no Berry, no AC/DC, according to Angus. That's on there as well.
Yeah.
Very true.
Darren says ET phone home. We're going to need to do that soon. Dean says, be interesting what the crowd will be like for Pantera supporting Metallica next year. Keen to see what happens there, especially with how passionate Metallica fans are with who supports them. That will be interesting, but I think it'll go better than you think. I think people will be nicer with all things considered. People
Yeah, I
are better
think so. Yeah.
than they used to be. It's much more corporate now, if that makes sense, than visceral pub dive kind of stuff. So, yeah, if it was the early 80s, maybe, but it's not.
Plus the diehard Pantera fans who were, Diamond Vinny fans, they're not going. So
That's it.
So it doesn't really matter.
Because they didn't like Metallica anyway. So it didn't matter.
Yeah.
Michael says, Dave, did Coma get played on Saturday night?
No.
No.
2 times in a row, no fucking Coma.
Dave was mortally wounded after that one.
I was like, okay, we got screwed for Coma last time because Axel was stuck in traffic. I understand that. I was stuck in traffic too. I'm usually a pretty laid-back, passive guy. But when the light turns green and you're stuck in traffic and people are just staring at like, oh, that's a pretty color. I'm like, it's called an accelerator, fuckhead. Move. No one's moving. People don't know how to fucking drive. But for some reason, we didn't get Coma
the bin
again
is
this
coming
time.
up. The bin is coming up. All right.
I want to hear Coma live.
Maybe you will. Basher says more John Sykes. Prince is good too.
Yeah.
And Schenker is good
Oh,
too.
amazing. Yeah, good.
Yeah. Sally says everyone knows the origins of Pantera, the two boys from Texas and the influence of their father. Pantera is the Abbott brothers. I love Phil, love him, and Rex is killer, but this isn't Pantera. I agree, it can't be, and that's pretty much where most of us sit, I think.
Yeah. Pantera was a glam band when they first started.
It started out, yeah. But it was the Abbott brothers. That's who started it.
Yeah,
Everyone else sort of, that's where I can't reconcile the name. But anyway, we've done that. Dean says the Bruce brothers in the Angels, great blues, Aussie guitar, especially live. Pleasure to have seen them live a lot. Sadly, with no doc, I wish I saw. Yeah, the Brewster brothers are distinctive as well. Same with the Young brothers, to be honest, from AC/DC.
Yeah.
Vinny says, Stuart has returned. That's all of us. And Dean says, Pantera and Metallica play the same bill or supported each other back in the day. I remember the Moscow Free Show 91. The Moscow one was very special, though. That was a once-in-a-lifetime moment. That was, historically speaking, that was something else. That shouldn't have been able to happen.
The Moscow Music Peace Festival? That was in 89, I think. Yeah.
89, yeah. That even happened was crazy.
Yeah.
So the Iron Curtain came down for a brief window, and it was just something special when that that was combined with things like the wall coming down in Berlin. It was a very different time, and there was a lot of different things going on in the world back then. Dean didn't live through that, so it's just sort of it makes us all a lot older than we.
Roger Waters did a special show of The Wall back around that time. We had a whole bunch of guest musicians. That was fucking great to see.
It had Scorpions. And,
Jerry Hall was there. And
Cyndi Lauper.
Yes. Yep. It was huge. It was a cultural thing.
Sinead O'Connor.
Yeah.
Sinead O'Connor, Chris Christopherson. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a big
everyone.
That was a great show. I remember watching
that was a real zeitgeist thing. That was a real cultural, huge moment.
Yeah.
Huge moment. Darren says Vinny always said there's no Pantera without Dime. Well, there we go.
Yeah. That's it.
Dean says more than 1 million people for that show in Russia. Yes, that's true. Sorry, no, it was 95. I missed a fuckload of catching up. So there we go. Yeah, you are going to get there eventually. Here's a good one too. Nicole says Diesel is a great guitarist. Yes, completely agree. No, Conrad?
I don't know. I just don't like his song.
No.
Like his songwriting. It's just.
Jennifer
I've seen him
Carson's a
do
great
things.
date.
Yeah, I've seen him do things like in like a more Tommy Emmanuel kind of setting, and he can fucking play. Like when he plays, it's just
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, fine. I'd be up
He's
for
good
that.
with the
I'm going to mention a country guitar player because I like
go for it.
country, believe it or not. Vince Gill, amazing guitar player.
Okay.
Amazing guitar player. And if you think I'm crazy, just go listen to some of his stuff.
Yeah.
Some people don't stand his music, like country. You know, I like some.
Yeah.
I like. When it comes to country, I think I'm more of a traditional. I like, Kenny Rogers, the Gambler, and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But I got a soft spot in my heart for Garth Brooks. Sorry.
Yeah. No, he's talented though. You can't deny talent. That's the thing.
Yeah. Well, he's the biggest selling recording artist now, I guess, of all time.
Just about. Yeah. He's up there.
As a singer, as a single recording artist, he's surpassed Michael Jackson, all those guys.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think he's got just around as a single, like just to himself, he's 200 and some million albums, which is pretty.
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
I know he's got like one of the biggest touring rigs, like
he's
a lighting rig. Like his production is up there.
It's massive.
Kiss, Motley Crue, it's huge. It's big show. Lots of fireworks and shit. It's a big lighting rig. Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Rigs at the moment.
I think he considered one of his albums, I think it was called Sevens. It sold something like 10 million copies, and they considered it a failure.
Fuck.
Jesus. Fucking hell. Right, that's a failure.
You sell a million these days.
Yeah.
Fucking hell. Okay, we're going to quickly go through some comments and we'll get to the final review. Otherwise, we're all going to be here until fucking all night. Dean says, Ian Moss, that's another one there too as well. Bella's still with us. She's gone 2 more greats. I love Blackmore and Page. Very good. They were trailblazers as well.
Eric Johnson, I see in that comment that he's probably one of the best.
That's Andrew here, Eric Johnson for his talent and tone. Good point. Very good point. Basher says Kevin Borich is live is great. Cool.
There's another guy called John McLaughlin, and he was doing.
Yes, he plays with Valdemiola.
He played with the Mahu Vishnu Orchestra, like experimental late 60s experimental kind of jazz band. But he's doing stuff that's like Malmsteen sort of stuff before the Eddie Van Halen and the Malmsteens and the Randy Rhoads guys. He was doing that level of stuff. Wow. It's just it wasn't considered metal then. It was in a jazz format. So if you listen to it though, it's shredded. It's full on shredding. It's full on that stuff. But it was just so far ahead of its time. The world wasn't ready for that yet. You know.
It wouldn't have had the spotlight on it either, probably. So get overlooked by a lot of people.
Yeah, it was just like considered avant-garde experimental jazz.
Yeah.
What he was doing was basically like speed metal.
Wow. That's good out.
Doing like speed metal shredding, you know.
Wow. Yeah. I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah. Check out the Mahu.
It was John McLaughlin, Valdemiola, and one other dude. They did that One Night in San Francisco CD. That's fucking amazing. Those 3 guys together, it's all jazz, but that's why a lot of the rock metal guys that are into shredding will always go back to those 3 guys. Big influence.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah, for sure.
Nicole says Glenn Campbell, another good one there.
Oh wow, yeah.
Darren says Guthrie, Govan, and Nick Johnson are brilliant. Michael says, remember Diesel support for Angels at the Palace, but was Johnny Diesel and the Injectors young and raw before he became Diesel? Every song he sold like it was the finale. Yeah, he was hot early on. Basher says, saw Miola, Lachlan, and DeLuca live. Fantastic. Well, fucking hell, lucky you. Question from Vinny. Had Freddie Mercury passed away before or after that Moscow show?
After.
After, but he was already sick by then, wasn't he?
Yeah. That Moscow show was 89. Freddie died in November of 91. Yeah.
But they'd already started to dial things down by then anyway, so yeah. Alrighty, let's get to the final review of the night, and then we can maybe get out of here before 1 o'clock in the morning. Reference track whatever, all good. Reference track in the comments and the description for tonight. For this one is Dream Theater with the Test that stumped them all. That'll be us after Dave gets done with it. So this is Dream Theater with 6 degrees of inner turbulence. 6 tracks for 96 minutes. Yes, you heard that right. The 6th studio of the American band, released January 2002 via Elektra Records, produced by band members John Petrucci and Mike Portnoy at Bear Track Studios in New York. This is the band's first studio album to feature a title track. It's their second longest studio album to date. All songs from this have been performed live. This album is 46 in the US while Dave does something. It also did quite well all over Europe. It is a double album. This album has quite the diverse range of lyrical themes and ties in with other albums from the band's career as well, like there are references to it before and after. I like saying double album. One song covers the entire second disc of this one. Our final Patreon choice for this year, and it's celebrating its 20th anniversary. So let's get into it. And Dave, fuck it, we cannot not go to you first on this one. So try to not take a half an hour.
I'll try not to. I can't believe this is 20 years old. Okay.
Yeah.
I like this album. I think it's good. I give it 9 out of 10. Review done.
What the fuck?
No way, Dave. No way.
Nah, you fucking wish, mate. Okay. But this album is really special to me because this is the first album they released after I discovered them with the Scenes from a Memory album, which has already been released. This was the first time I had to wait to be released. I was already a massive fan. I bought everything within a couple of weeks once I discovered them. And as soon as I got this album, I certainly wasn't disappointed. And, 20 years later, after being familiar with the whole Dream Theater catalog, this is certainly an album that is indicative of everything they're capable of. They chose really to stay away from the whole cohesive concept that they did on Scenes from a Memory. And instead, they elected to go with the themes of mental illness and internal various struggles that people deal with, while touching on some issues of the current topical conversations of the time, which I'll get to in a little while. The album opens with the first part of the AA suite, which it became known as the Alcoholics Anonymous suite, the Glass Prison. Now, at the time, I had no idea that this song was going to be continued over the next 4 albums, and it would collectively run for over an hour. This first part is a part of a much bigger piece, and this clocks in at 16 minutes. And it's fucking amazing from start to finish. Features some of the heaviest riffs this band had done at this point. The lyrics are fucking fantastic. And it's such a great idea to do the 12 steps of the Alcoholics Anonymous idea and write a song for each of those 12 steps. The Glass Prison features the first 3 of those steps. And fucking, as a guitar player, wannabe guitar player, I just, I cowering, want to cry in the corner when I hear John Petrucci play. He's a fucking god. And when you hear the arpeggio run that he does throughout that, I'm trying to play it, but I can't. I just can't keep up. That's nothing short of jaw-dropping. And it's fuck, well, it's that 7/4 riff that's in, and then it's got that cool, like, how do you come up with this shit? And the drums are fucking relentless all the way through. And James sounds amazing. He cops a lot of shit, but he sounds amazing on this album. I like the way he projects his voice in different ways to convey the different emotions of what's going on in different themes and different characters throughout. The cool thing about this is you have the addition of Mike Portnoy on vocals. He'd done little backup vocals previously. This is where he's really taken some lead vocals, and he works really well with James on this. And the production on this song alone is brilliant because you got panning of the lyrics and other little instrumentations, but the vocals in particular are just bouncing one from left to right. And it's, if you listen to it with just one earplug in or one headphone in, you're only hearing part of what's going on. It's really disorientating because I've done that once, and when one speaker's cut out, but when you get both, and it just works with that internal struggle of all these different
the internal monologue
ideas and thoughts that are going through your mind when you're really struggling with something. And when you do that for something like alcoholism, and when you're trying to kick it, it's just fucking, it's really, really well done. Mike Portnoy fucking nailed it. And then it changes paths with the second song, Blind Faith. Changes moods, changes pace. Really thoughtful lyric. Excellent musical section throughout there. That one struck with me right from my first listen. After the solo, around 5.5 minutes, there's this reoccurring riff. And all of a sudden, the piano takes over. Does the same riff. And then the piano goes out in a different way. And then the band and the guitars kick back in. And then it starts with the prog shit, where you start going off into different time signature changes. And it just, this is what you can do with you got a cool riff to start with, and then you can fuck around with it and come up with so many different ideas. I don't know why people waste their ideas with a 4-minute song. This is why I love this band, because there are so many cool things that you can do rather than just like, okay, here's a riff done, we're moving on. This is a riff. Let's drop a beat. Let's drop a half beat. Let's extend it. Let's just fuck around with it. You come up with so much cool stuff. Okay. Then you get the great debate, and this is like a highlight of the album for me. I remember when everyone was talking about stem cell research, and it's cool how they keep it neutral. They have both sides of the argument, and the sound bites from the media and all the discussions is a cool introduction, and then during the solo towards the end. I like how James presents his vocals in this. You got the killer heavy riff in the chorus, but then James will do like a monotone leading in discussing it, and then he really gets infectious during the pre-chorus and the chorus. And when you got that whole, are you justified in taking life to save life? Yeah, it's fucking really well done. Song's 20 years old. I remember this debate like it was yesterday. It was such an interesting time in the world's history. We had so much potential, and it ultimately became nothing because stem cell research wasn't exactly banned, but there's now restrictions on the funding and the research. It's such a fucking waste of potential. Fast forward 20 years later, 2022, we're now debating on whether Pepe Le Pew should be cancelled or not, and who identifies as the fucking coffee machine. Great job, social media. Fucked up the life of the fucking world. And we had 20 years ago, it was so much potential.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to change pace again. Disappear. That is a really nice way to end CD1. Slow, brooding, haunting, great lyrics. Fucking beautiful lyrics. And if you've seen the live at Budokan DVD, it's a nice little halfway path in a 3-minute performance. 30-minute performance. 3-hour performance. I've been drinking too much. I'm going to fucking quit drinking. Fucking LD1. No, but this song is just pianos and vocals, and they create a great mood, and it's beautiful. And that song's written by James LeBray. If you like that, check out his solo album that he released this year, because it's kind of it's kind of along the lines of
that's
this.
saying something.
Yeah, this is what I want from James. Okay, title track, disc 2, 6 Degrees of Inner Turbulence, epic 50-minute piece divided into 8 different parts. Excellent story. To be honest, I agree with a lot of what Mike Portnoy says, but I'm glad he got voted down in this because he wanted this all as one track. This is 8 different tracks on the CD. It needed to be divided because there's some times where you just want to go to certain parts. But it's such a, if you listen to it in the whole part, it's a great journey. You want individual songs. Would they perform different parts of this live? You want it separated.
Yeah. But Solitary Shell deserves its own little time. Like, for me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's so, like that Budokan live, when they toured this album, there's so many great songs from this part of this 50-minute epic. But then you got the opening and everything that's set up, and then you got the heavier tracks like War Inside My Head and The Test That Stumped Them All. And those 2 songs are the heavier side of Dream Theater. And The Test That Stumped Them All is one of my all-time favorites. Then directly following that, you got another cool group with Goodnight Kiss and Solitary Shell.
Yep.
They're like the softer side, the proggier side of Dream Theater. So you got the 2 moods. And Solitary Shell is such a upbeat, happy tune. It's some really dark fucking lyrics. Yeah. Really dark. I love that contrast. It's an interesting way of portraying the themes of what you want to get across. The juxtaposition of happy, sad, light, shade, dark. Yeah, it's great.
Yep.
Like most Dream Theater, there's a lot of playing on this album, and some of the longest songs collectively of what they've done. They usually have long songs, but there's usually some shorter songs. This has probably the most longest songs of all. Yeah. But I think it's one of the most accessible albums that they've done. They've done heavier, they've done proggier, they've this is a great all-round display of what the band
This is a
capable
gateway
of.
album for these guys.
Yeah, definitely. You know, if the songs weren't so long, some of these could be on radio because they're accessible. But they're Dream Theater, they fuck around, they like the longer songs. And you know, this is an amazing album, but I'm only going to give this 9 out of 10 because they've got better albums. But this is a fucking fantastic album. So this gets 9 out of 10. Glass Prison, Blind Faith, Great Debate, Disappear, and The Test That Stumped Them All are my standouts. But this is just amazing from start to finish.
Nice. And well done today for not going as long as I thought he would tonight on that one. So
I tried to reel it in.
No, well done. Well done. All right, Jeff, let's throw to you next.
Sure. All right. Well, look, first of all, Scenes from Memory, masterpiece. To follow it up with another masterpiece. To follow it up with another masterpiece is hard to do, and I can't think of too many bands that have done that. I honestly think that this is an album. 6 Degrees is a great album, and I think it's one of those ones that it's a must listen if you're a Dream Theater fan, and if you're not a Dream Theater fan, I think it's still something you should give a listen to.
Yeah.
I was a fan from day one, first hearing Dream Theater, and I can tell you, I know where I was and what I was doing. So you have to go back to 1993, and in Canada we used to have our own music channel called Much Music.
Yeah.
So that's the it's like think MTV, but it's Canadian, right? But we played everything. And they were doing an interview with Bruce Dickinson. And of course I was watching that, and he had already left Maiden at this point. He was just doing his solo stuff. And then so what they would do is they'd grab artists and they'd say, okay, what video would you like to play from somebody? And he said, I think I want to see Dream Theater. And they're like, Dream Theater? You see, I really like them. They're really good. And they got this album out, and it pulled me under the song. Oh. So they played the video for it. I was just like, and I was, well, I'd never heard of them before. So I went out and, ended up buying all their albums up to that point, which I believe was only 2, but still. It was. I didn't know at the time that they had a different singer for the first album, then get to this, the second album. It's definitely, Awake is a better album than When Dreams and Day Unite or whatever it is. That's not a great album because of the singer, I think. But I digress again. When it comes to Dream Theater, they're all about the images and the scenes that they're trying to create with their music. And I think that this album is obviously was a personal thing with Mike Portnoy and his personal struggles with alcoholism. And it's a serious topic. To put it into an album and write it and not have it sounding cliche at all. Yeah. There's nothing about this sounds cliche. It's just a brilliant thing. And I think that it's one of those albums that, as I said before, I think it's a masterpiece. So I'm going to just say for me it's a 10 out of 10 album.
Nice.
I got it the day it came out, and I was I basically commandeered the radio. The wife would be driving the car, and I slide the CD in, and she's like, "Oh," rolling her eyes, and but, but it was just, I remember it was just amazing. I was just like, I was glued to every note, every word, everything. And it was like, there's something about this album, that opening guitar riff in the Glass Prison, that when he's doing that wow, oh my God, the hairs rose up on my arms and the back of my neck, and I just wanted to crank it. I risked getting booted out of the truck if I did crank it, but the wife was driving. But it was just like unbelievable, and and then getting into the Great Debate. the whole stem cell thing, was huge. You were spot on, Dave. 20 years ago, it was a moral dilemma. It was dividing people, and I think if they went on one side or the other, they would have really divided their fans. So they were real smart, and they went right down the middle, and that was brilliant. To tell the story without taking a side.
And Petrucci's Christian as well, so it's cool that he could be neutral.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, now look, stem cells are no longer, it's no, we don't use them anymore. Now we found a way to get stem cells from adults. So you can take a cell from any organ in the body, and you can only produce stem cells for that organ. But we don't need embryos anymore. So why would, if you were against it for a moralistic reason because it has something to do with babies, well, what's your argument now? You're getting rid of stem cells.
Why are we talking about it anymore?
Yeah, well, you blow your nose, you're getting rid of stem cells. Big deal. No one cries over the stem cells that you lost when you blew your nose. So, I think it's just silly, but that's sort of getting off topic. But
we're good at that tonight.
Well, definitely. This has been an epic show, by the way. Not just because Conrad and I are here. Nothing to do with that. It's just been really good. Yeah. And I'm showing off. I played hockey for many, many years. Yeah. And I recently had an accident where years ago, I just like a typical hockey player, I been in a few fights. And I had my denture that I had wore. I lost it. Can you see? I don't care. That's how I'm playing hockey. All right.
Yeah.
Anyway, so if anyone's wondering what the hell's up with Jeff's mouth, that's how I lost my denture. I don't care. I don't know where it went. It's gone.
That's what is fun, man.
And I just moved house, so I thought maybe I lost it in the bed. No. No, I gotta go get a new one.
That's a whole different tooth fairy, man. That's a whole different tooth fairy.
I'm gonna have to. It's gonna cost me a couple grand to get another one.
Yeah.
But oh well. But yeah. Geez, I really got off topic there, didn't I? Look,
Dream Theater. Who knew?
Dream Theater. If you're into, I'm giving Conrad lots of time to think about and formulate his. If you want to start with an album with Dream Theater, this is, you said it, Andrew, this is a great gateway album.
Yeah.
And if you like heavy stuff, it's great. And then the beautiful thing is that the next album is even heavier.
Yeah.
So it's like
train of thought. What's cool though? I didn't mention it, but when Scenes from a Memory ends and you got like the gramophone going off, that's the sound that you hear at the start of this album.
That's correct.
The first note on Train of Thought is the last note on this album. And in Octavarium, Mike realized that you can't keep doing this. So Octavarium, the whole theme is the start. The end is the start. So it loops back onto itself, which is fucking brilliant. So hopefully in a couple of years we'll talk about Octavarium, because I could talk for fucking hours about that.
Yeah, Octavarium's another great album. I think Octavarium is a fantastic album as well. I would even go so far as to say, I don't know if it's a masterpiece, but the song Octavarium, holy shit, 24 minutes.
I just love that each song is off a different key on the fucking cycle of fifths. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Look, these guys, they
Conrad, you feel my pain.
They don't write catchy songs like they are ever going to be played on the radio.
Exactly.
But who gives a shit? It's great music.
But you can enjoy it as a fan, or you can enjoy it as a musician. And you can cut one off and just appreciate it for two different things.
It's funny that you like Dream Theater so much, because Dream Theater, you know who Dream Theater's biggest rival was? Really? Rush.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, Rush. And
biggest influence,
biggest influence, that's right. And so, but you've got a lot of the Rush fans who absolutely can't stand Dream Theater. And then myself, I'm a huge Rush fan, but I love Dream Theater. I embraced it because, why fight it?
And then you got Dave, who loves Dream Theater but can't stand Rush.
I like Rush. He likes Rush. He doesn't like Getty. He doesn't like Getty.
Anyway.
If James the Brain was singing for Rush.
Dave.
Shit. Yes. Hand me the Vaseline.
Hey, do you know what Rush and James LaBrie have in common? They're both Canadian. There you go again. Boom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not your friend.
Yeah. I'll tell you. No, all right. So look, as I said, I'm gonna give this album a 10 out of 10. It's my 10 out of 10. Because I don't think maybe it doesn't stack up with some other amazing, albums, but how you would improve on it. I really don't. It tells a story.
Yep.
It's a concept album in itself, and it followed the concept album, which was a masterpiece. How many bands do that? Come out with two back-to-back concept albums, and both of them being amazing. You expect at least one of them going to be shit. No, they're both great. What the hell? Yep. Yeah. So I think, up to after Train of Thought, they took a couple stumbles, I think, as a band. I really think after Train of Thought, they took a few stumbles. But, that's another argument from another day. Right now, this is an amazing album. If you haven't heard it, then, get on it. Get on it. Yeah. And that's it. That's all I got to say. 10 out of 10.
Nice. Well done. Good conversation. Now, Conrad, follow that up if you can.
God, blimey,
agree with what they're saying. A lot of people think like prog metal or prog rock or prog metal, they might think a bit, pompous and maybe a bit too sort of orchestral or whatnot. I don't know. This was heavy. This was a heavy record. This was as heavy as some of Metallica's Master of Puppets or had some or Megadeth's Rust in Peace, some really heavy riffs in there and complicated riffs. So people might have had a view of Dream Theater maybe not being heavy enough for them or the Pantera kind of audience, but there's some riffs on here that are just as heavy as Pantera.
Even James's vocals lean into that too.
Yeah, so it was a heavy record, and it was kind of like some people might not realize that Dream Theater actually do have some really ballsy, heavy riffs,
Yeah, definitely,
and quite fast as well. Some really fast thrashy sections on here. It was a great record. Tracks like Misunderstood, the way that builds and explodes into that big chorus is fantastic. I did like the there's some riffs on The Great Debate, where it sounds almost like Tool. There's like a Tool riff. There's like this offbeat Tool kind of vibe to it. So Tool fans might enjoy that track, So you can definitely tell where Mike Portnoy was listening to Lateralis. I think he was.
Especially during
he did that song because I was like, that rhythm is very Tool.
The Take Life to Save Life part, that riff underneath that lyric is very Tool-esque.
Yeah, definitely. I saw this live at Hammersmith when this tour, and it was stunning. It was fantastic. Yeah, it was brilliant. Cool. No, that was really, really good. So no, it's a great record. The second album, that's the first part, but then the second one is great. It starts off really well, and I think it's a lot to digest in one piece, and I think it tends to. It sort of loses its pacing a bit, I think, towards sort of like, I want to say the later half of it loses its pace a bit. But other than that, it's solid. It's good. And I wish I could write like that. So it's very difficult to criticize something unless you've done it yourself. I think. But no, there's some top-notch stuff on this record. So for people who aren't familiar with Dream Theater, I'd say this is a good album to start with. This is a good segue album to get into, and maybe work forwards or backwards, or either direction. Really, you could go in either way. But it certainly, I think it helped them. It catapulted them up another level. It was like, oh shit, this band's gotten heavier.
Made people take them more seriously.
Next step heavier, it was like, whoa, it's good. Yeah, definitely. So I'd give this at least 9 out of 10. Yeah.
Nice.
Fantastic record.
Cool. For me, coming into this band, Dave will know my struggles with Dream Theater in the past. I love Rush. I think Rush are fantastic. This band I've struggled with in the past because there's just such this staccato feel to the way that the songs chop and change and carry on. So this is like Yngwie. I'm coming into this one. I'm like, oh, okay, let's just see what we sort of get into here, because you don't know that feeling, that vibe, because I've heard so much staccato. I was like, then you get this one. It's like, oh, hang on. This thing breathes. It flows. There's genuine organic composition. This album, that's why I said this is a gateway one, because for me, like, I struggle not with prog, but with stuff that just has really abrupt turns. I like to have some sort of narrative to a song, to a story. That's why I struggle with the flashy guitar stuff. I like to have something that builds, grows, peaks, descends, all that kind of stuff. This album does that. That's why I said gateway, because for me, if I'd started with this album, with this band, my perception of Dream Theater would be entirely different to what it has been up until now. It's interesting that Dave mentioned the solo album from James Labrie earlier this year. Vocally, he's more like that on this record. Like, there are certain parallels in tone, the way it's mixed in. And I find, it's funny, Dave and I have had this debate countless times. He complains about Geddy Lee. I complain about James Labrie. So it's just like, what the fuck? And so we had this thing. But on this album and on the solo album earlier this year, his tone is just right. And when it's done like that, when it fits, when it sits right, and it doesn't stand out, it cuts through, but it blends in at the same time, which is really important for these songs, and because of the subject matter and the stories being told, that it does that in such a way that it is a part of the composition, but not jarring. One of the best examples on this entire album has been brought up, and that's the track, The Great Debate. That musically, production-wise, all those things, but just that to me sums up just the execution across this album. To get a song like that on such a highly charged subject at the time it came out, and to get it right, to get the balance right, is incredibly hard. I don't know how they did it. No matter how you feel about it, or did feel, or do feel, whatever, no matter what your thoughts were or are, there is going to be something of that coming through. To be able to completely strip that and put it aside and tell that story in this way is incredibly well done. The sound bites, the Foley, the attention, the detail on it, that shows just that if you listen to one song from this whole thing just to get an idea of the execution, I reckon that song is the one, because it shows you the depth of thought, the depth of process, that the whole thing is just so well executed from top to bottom. That song signifies what this album, or what they got to in terms of just execution when it comes to this record and what they've done to their career to date. That was just stunningly good. And because with songs like that too, you run such a risk, because with things like that, especially in the United States, you see how charged that topic is, and you see how people, if you even get it just a hair wrong, because people, and don't get me wrong, artists can say what they want to say in their songs. The flip side is that listeners are allowed to feel how they feel when they hear it. And so, it's a whole, for every reaction, there's an equal and opposite reaction kind of thing kicks into play when it comes to the consummation of music. So or consuming of music, I should say, not consummation. But either way. It's late. That's late. But the overall point is to get that so balanced, because, like I said, people are allowed to say what they want to say. People are allowed to feel how they want to feel. To get it to be such a neutral standing for all of us here to commenting on it is remarkable.
You've got to be very careful. I mean, back that time, it's back same sort of time. You can commit fucking career suicide.
Exactly.
Especially in America, by saying the wrong thing. And a classic example of that was the Dixie Chicks.
Yes.
Yes. Killed them,
It's definitely.
Just, that's it. You have an opinion on something, and it was like, right, that's it. Yeah. So, exactly. About the same sort of time as that.
Yeah. To get it right is just a feat in itself. But what that does is it opens your mind, for me, to really take in the whole album much more on its merit. and to take away the preconceived notions that I've had before of this band, which have been documented, and just to sit there, like I said before, Gateway is the way to describe this one. This is the one, if you're like me and have been sort of unsure of this band, go listen to this. This will, now to me, it's not a, I'm not going to give it a 10, but for me to give it an 8.5, which I'm giving it, is pretty bloody good from where I've come from before with this band. Dave will know in particular how that works. But getting the tones right, the mix right, the composition was fucking wonderful. Like I said before, it's been a lot of staccato stuff. They just sort of take a turn for the sake of it. On this one, everything made sense. It all fit. And it had to with songs. Like one song goes for like 40 minutes. So you got to have it make sense. It has to flow. But I loved how even in the longer stuff, you had chapters that were standalone moments in their songs that make it stand out. So I give it an 8.5 out of 10. I've chosen tracks like The Great Debate, Blind Faith. I like that one as well. But also, you know, if you're going to pick one, the Solitary Shell, that moment in the title track of this one is a highlight for me, because that little story in and of itself about the person who's like a bit freaky kind of thing, and you know, the observation, the commentary of it, the storytelling musically and lyrically, and this is what makes it sells it to me. So I can buy into this album really, really comfortably compared to other ones from this band, because like this and The Astonishing are worlds fucking apart for me. Everything has a purpose, a place, a time on this one. The Astonishing is just something they've done for the sake of it. This one has purpose.
Even also, The Astonishing is not good.
I know. That's why I referenced that one. But this one, sorry?
I honestly believe that, I'm sorry, for me, this band, I think, took the feel was different when Portnoy left. The feel,
I agree.
Feel,
Because
because his crack, the way he's got that nice crack sound, they just don't have that anymore. And his songwriting, and it took.
I miss his songwriting. His lyric content.
It's all Jordan Rudess now writing everything.
That nice snap he's got on the snare.
Yeah.
It's just,
but also his production now too. Like him co-producing is really.
But he did the hate song. He was the rock star of the band. He had the substance abuse problems. He had the fucked up loss of a parent when he was a kid. He had the
he was the metal, and he was the metal guy that was into the coke.
He wrote the hate songs, and you just miss him.
Yeah, he was the metal guy. He was the big Megadeth and Rush head, the thrash head.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But it is missing, I think, since he left.
Yeah, I agree with that personally. And that's not to say that it's not a slight against Mangini is the guy in the band now.
He's just not
He's amazing. Yeah,
he's amazing, but it just doesn't feel the same.
And they've done some good stuff. It's just not the same.
Yeah. But back to this album for a second. Yeah, I think this is the one that if you've got reservations, check this one out, because it like me, will make you want to check out more. And for Dave to hear me say that's probably like, oh fuck yes, finally.
I've been telling you for years, man.
I know. I've got a note here that where Tim calls me black metal curious, because I've listened enough of stuff from him. This album makes me Dream Theater curious, if that makes sense. Like,
we gotta do a full special, man. I'll lead you through.
I'm open to it. Just got to find a time to make it happen. That's all. But this is a really good album. If you like me, you're a bit on the fence with this band, check this one out, because this is really going to sell you on it. Like I said, I'm not ready to take the full dive and go, oh my God, what an amazing thing. But it's very, very well done. It's incredibly well-rounded, so easy to listen to, which is important for these guys to me. And I just thought between the storytelling, between the songwriting, the lyrics, and also the production across the board in this one was just so well done. Everything just fit. It clicked for me. It clicked for the band. It clicked for me as a listener. It made sense, which is important for this sort of stuff. So I really did enjoy this one quite a lot. So like I said, 8.5 out of 10. Blind Faith, Great Debate, and Solitary Shell. If you're going to pick one of those moments out of the last one there. I'm running out of battery, so I'm going to start to wrap this up relatively quickly. So when we started this one, Sally says, "Okay, Dave, ready, set, go." Vinny followed up with "For all your wankering needs." Dean and Nicole have both got the laughter going there. Darren says, tapping out again. Thanks for another great show, guys. Have an awesome Christmas, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. I know it's a long one tonight. We are well and truly over time. It's like our latest one.
Fault.
It is what it is. Thank you for joining us, and everyone that's here. We'll do a bit more at the end, but thank you everyone for jumping in at all this year. It's been fantastic. Rowan says this album was like, when you put an old jacket on and find $50 in the pocket. I bought this when it was released. Probably only listened to it once until the last week, and it's great. Well done. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Basher says, is this album about cricket? No. Rowan says, even when there's no guitar, Dave can't keep up with Petrucci's arpeggio. So there we go.
I really can't.
Vinny says, it's not satisfying anyone's ventriloquist needs. That's Dave and his fucking finger puppeting, I should say. Ryan says, this came out right at the time when I was sick of James Labrie. I didn't know at the time he'd been dealing with vocal cord damage for 6 years when this came out, but it was way over Labrie.
Yeah.
I agree, but the vocal tone on this was so refreshing to me when it came to James's stuff.
I just listened to a podcast. There's a chick on YouTube that's called The Charismatic Voice, and she's an opera trained singer. She does
she's
getting
great.
into the metal.
Yep.
And she's done like Rob Halford and everything.
Yep.
I just listened to a podcast with her talking to James Labrie about his vocal cord injury and how he's dealt with it over the years. It was really fascinating. So just listening to this album again after hearing that, it's like, fuck, he's done an amazing job because it would have killed most singers what he went through.
What people go through vocal cord wise can be not only physically but just mentally fucked up. Like because that's your entire...
when you rupture your fucking vocal cord and you're vomiting up blood.
Yeah,
and you have to go on tour again in a couple of months.
What do you do when you're in the middle of a tour and that happens in the middle of a tour?
Yeah, the doctors advised him to
cancel the tour.
Yeah,
he ended up performing a few weeks later afterwards, and he said he can hear tapes, and it's just we shouldn't have been doing it. But the band was on an upward trajectory in their career, so he couldn't not perform. But it wasn't the place for him. And he said that it wasn't until like Train of Thought tour where he actually felt like he got most of his range back.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's why I'm glad that artists are more open about the things they go through these days on all fronts. It's a good thing.
I mean, a guitarist can change strings, a drummer can change skins, a vocal it affects your quality of life.
Yeah, it's everything. It's your health. It's different. When the body is the instrument, it's fucking important.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're getting heavy.
It's your career, it's your self-esteem, it's your livelihood, everything. It affects everything.
How you don't take that as a personal failure is beyond me. Like, even though it's not, it's just your body breaking down. But how mentally you don't take it as a personal failure is just fucking beyond me.
And it affects everything.
You're so self-conscious about it as well.
I remember Fear Factory coming out here on the Demanufacture tour, and they came out and Burton had fucked his voice completely. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it had torn the ligaments and shit. And he was so bummed out. And there were fans everywhere. He was doing meet and greet. They had to do meet and greets, but they basically just did a tour of meet and greets and signed everybody's shit because he couldn't perform. So they went to cities and did meet and greets, and he couldn't even fucking talk. And he was bummed out. And he was totally bummed. Yeah. And you could see it, but nothing you can do.
No,
I saw that in '95. They opened up for Ozzy in Montreal.
Yeah.
Which was an amazing show.
Yeah.
I don't think it blew his voice in because he sounded good to me. I had never heard of Fear Factory. I was just like, who the fuck are these guys? Because it was unbelievable. The drumming
the first time you hear them is something else.
At the time, there was nothing like it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
They first came here in about '92 and were playing places like Lismore.
Oh, right.
Yes,
Lismore and playing really out the way country fucking towns on Soul of a New Machine, the first record. Yeah.
Wow.
It's really it's really like obscure little country towns. It was and then came back and did the Manufacturer and went
and bang. All right, I'm going to take over because I'm going to run out of battery very soon. So, no, you're all good. I would love to keep going because I've got the power supply to do it. Vinny says he's now gone after coffee. So there we go. Bash says, I'll definitely give this a listen. Good, please do. Rowan says, cuts 20 years later, I'm ready for Labrie again. Okay, there is some singing on this, and I don't like it at all, but there's still some great singing. But musically, it's great. Nice. Sensory Sarah, got confused there. Discourse today. We are all over the joint today. Rowan says the images and say words. Is he not going to say words?
Say it. He said it.
Say it. Dean says, listen to this the other day, and I might be wrong, but I can hear the lyrical content a lot from what James Hetfield writes, especially with mental illness and alcoholism. First time listeners all for this album and to Dream Theater. Nice. Would be curious to know if this makes you want to check out more.
It was around this time Dream Theater covered Master of Puppets, the whole album.
Yeah, that makes sense. Vinny says, travel to Thailand, Jeff. You'll get it done on the cheap when it comes to your tooth, I think.
That's what he's talking about. Because that's all we're going there for teeth. That's it.
Yeah. Rowan says, Octavarium is another one I bought and then never listened to. I need to get onto it. Nice.
That's brilliant.
Get on that, man. Get on it. It's great.
Dean says, imagine if this came out today with lyrical content. Slight twist on it, but yeah, there'd be a lot of debate over that one as well. Bell says, got a bail, guys. Thanks heaps for an awesome year and music and laughs. Thank you for joining us. I know you've gone by now, but hopefully you've enjoyed the show. Sally says, thank you. And Dean says, at Opera Singer podcast, Dave, go listen to the interview she does with Miles Kennedy. Goes for an hour and a half. The YouTube video interview is fantastic. I recommend if anyone who loves Miles Kennedy or learn about
get on it.
Oh, there we go. All right. I'm going to wrap this up because it is our last stream for the year. We've gone super, super long. Quick shout out to some wonderful Patreon supporters here with TC, Sonia, Lee, Bell, Conrad, who's here tonight, Jeff, who's here tonight, Brendan, 16x9, Marty, Sam, Trash, Carolyn, Gwyneth, Andrew, Daniel, Man Family, Adam, Darren, and Vinny. Thank you so much for your fantastic support. Greatly, greatly appreciated. If you want to help us out yourselves, check out our Patreon page. Link is in the description, just like all of our social channels are. Hit them up. Follow us wherever you prefer to do so. And do the same thing for our fantastic sponsors. A big, big thank you to Squid Ink Screenprinting, Alt-Cvlt Rockstar Finance for all their support, not only this year, but in other years as well. They've been with us for quite a while and been great to us. So please do give them a bit of love on the socials, just to give them a bit of help there as well. Helps them, helps us, helps everyone do the right thing in that regard or make things go around. We are going to go to a bin and stuff before we get out of here. But I just want to take a moment here on behalf of us all here at the show, on TV, online, and everything, even the people you don't see behind the scenes, just to wish everyone a very Merry Christmas and a happy, safe, and healthy New Year in 2023. I know the last few years have been a struggle in a lot of ways for a great many people. Hopefully the next year coming up is one of the best ones yet, or at least feels like it in so many ways compared to what we've gone through in recent times. But yeah, generally speaking, stay safe, stay healthy, stay well. Do what you can to make yourself as happy as possible over this time of year. We will be doing stuff online, just not live streaming and all that kind of stuff. So just keep following us. There's stuff going on, but just want to wish everyone a great break coming up because we're taking one now until sort of early to mid-January. But yeah, that's about it on that side of things. TV is still going on, so we're on channel 44 in Adelaide, 10:30 p.m. Thursday nights. We're on channel 31, 11 p.m. on Saturday nights in Melbourne. You can check out our streams our broadcast simultaneously online via ctvplus.org.au or via the CTV Plus app. That's the TV side, but online we're here, we're doing stuff, just trying to keep up to date with what's going on, and we've got our top 10s coming, so we'll make sure that's a thing very, very soon as well. But yeah, like I was saying, it's the end of the year for us. It's the end of a long road. Hopefully you've all enjoyed it. Thank you, everyone, for sticking with us for another year of our absolute stupidity and nonsense. Thank you both to Conrad and Jeff, not only for your support behind the scenes, but jumping into these streams now and then too. It's been absolutely fantastic.
Awesome. Absolutely. My pleasure.
It's been an absolute blast. Loved having you both at different times and now together for the first time as well. We'll do more of these as the new year rolls on as well. Looking forward to that as well. There's so much more to explore. We haven't even started mapping out a lot of New Year yet, but we've already talked about the concept and the Canadian stuff. So we've got a whole lot of shit going on already planned out for next year. So we are on the ball already in that regard. So stay tuned for much more to come. But all that said, what do we got here? So we have the bin. I think that's it now, Dave. Is that all we got left to do now, the bin?
Yeah, I think so. Yep.
All right. I've got a few things. So Conrad or Jeff, do you have anything you want to put in the bin for now, for the year, for whatever?
Sure. I was going to say, what the fuck? Just because I said this before, Donald Trump in the bin.
There we go. Well done. All right, Conrad, what about you?
I don't know. I haven't got it. The Melbourne goth scene, that can go in the bin. That's Melbourne goth scene being a bunch of bickering fucking school kids.
When they get along, it's great. When they don't, it's fucking pox, isn't it?
Yeah, they just bickering schoolyardness. Fuck off with that shit.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah.
All right, Dave, what about you? What's your final bin for the year, mate?
I got two. Okay, after the Guns N' Roses concert, I was trapped in the car park for 50 minutes waiting to get out of the fucking thing because there's only one exit and there's like 500 people that want to leave. So I clicked that Use Your Illusion 2 to listen to, but I started with Civil War. I got all the way to the end of fucking Locomotive and I got out of the car park. That's how long I was trapped for. Two.
Oh, wow.
Modern artist adding stuff to classic songs. There's some fucking wanker from One Direction or something, and he came up with Jimi Hendrix on Spotify. I'm not even going to click on that shit because no, he's not the first person that's come up with fucking stuff on Spotify, and I'm sure he won't be the last. So fuck off with your talentless shit and leave classic rock alone. Okay, and on a quick, more serious note, thank you to everyone that's tuned in this year, because without you, I would just be out here talking to myself, and I know I'm one step away from full-blown mental illness, and that's not a good thing. So it's really appreciated that you listen to our shit, because sharing the mutual love of music is really important. And secondly, Christmas is coming up. Eat a lot, drink a lot, fuck a lot, enjoy yourself. But it's that time of year where people might not be in a good place, and it can be hard. The smallest act of kindness might not mean anything to you, but it can mean the world to somebody else. So I don't know, just be a bit patient, just smile, just be friendly. It's a big society out there, and you don't know what other people are going through. So just take a moment and just appreciate that we're all alive and we're all have the potential to be kind to each other. It doesn't cost anything. So eat, drink, love, fuck, whatever you want to do. Take a moment to speak to your neighbor. It doesn't cost anything.
Well
Rock and
put,
roll.
Dave. Well put. I'd argue that it's actually harder to be mean than it is to be kind. I'd argue.
It really is. It really is.
All right. I second everything that Dave said there. And again, thank you to everyone for tuning in for this year and previous years, and for everyone that supported us over any point in time. It's another end of year thing where we just go, okay, fuck, it's crazy. But thank you to everyone for tuning in, for sticking with us. We've done a lot of things differently and changed things up. We always do things different. We always do things our own way, but people still stay with us. And so thank you, every one of you, for doing so. And again, for everyone that supported us, really do appreciate it. It helps us more than you could ever possibly imagine. But for now, got 3 bins for this year to go through. First is Kanye West. Fuck, it feels good to be right about that troglodyte. Fuck that prick. His love of a dictator.
What a douche.
Kanye West, fucking drop kick of the century right here.
Yeah.
Fuck
in
him.
the bin with Hitler.
He loves that bloke.
What's he done recently that I've missed? Has he done something recently?
Hitler was a great guy.
A certain Austrian dictator.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to. We might get strike on that. Sorry.
I'll YouTube it.
Google,
word.
Google YouTube and Hitler and
Kanye.
that one, Nazis and Kanye West, and you'll get to the point.
All right.
Pretty quickly. Okay. When even Alex Jones tries to walk you back from the ledge and you don't go walk back, that's the thing.
When Alex Jones is the moderate guy in the room, wow.
That's a thing.
I remember he berated the shit out of a guy in a wheelchair here in Melbourne. But he wouldn't stand up. He wouldn't stand up. The dude was in a wheelchair.
This is why the last few weeks have been like utter vindication for us bidding him for all these years. Done it over and over again. It feels fucking perfect. All right, quickly. What else have I got here? So, number 2, there was a dog attack in Queensland and someone tragically lost their life. And that always sucks. But I do feel obliged to say something because I work with rescue dogs that are large breed, very dangerous if they are in the wrong hands. Kind of dogs, that the debate around dangerous dogs is not as cut and dried as breed. It's always, they're as unique as people. So take a breath to understand that dogs are individually unique creatures. It's not a breed. It's not a type. It's not a size. It's not anything. I've been bitten by dogs from Rottweilers to Pekingese. Everything has its place and time. Don't take one example to be the baseline for all of it, and make sure when we talk about things like controlling this sort of stuff that there's a lot of moderation in that, because it's as individual as humanity is. Don't just take a breed out of context. That's from the heart, because I work with Great Danes that have had a hard life before they come to us, and we've taught them to be completely different dogs than they were from when they came to us. So it can be done, just got to be in the right environment. Final bin, though, for the year is, sorry, aside from COVID, that can fuck off, because my wife coming down sick with COVID today is just fucked it. So COVID can get in the bin. But beyond that, my other one is going to be, if I'm still here.
You're still here. Yeah.
We swapped.
Yeah, we swapped, Dave. I don't know what happened there. But basically, when you're having a debate online, and this is going into Dave's comment being kind, when you're having a debate online, if you resort to attacking someone for their looks or any other reason aside from just the debate itself, you've lost the argument. You have lost the argument. Get better at debating or shut the fuck up, basically.
Yep.
That's my point of view on that one. All right, that's it. Otherwise, everyone out there, have a happy, safe, and healthy new year. Enjoy your Christmas. If you're feeling down, reach out to people around you to get some support and some love for all those things that you need. And again, we'll be back soon. We'll see you all again. We'll be here, but we'll see you all again fresh and new and going again in 2023. So last stream for the year. Back again with more in the near enough future, though. So we'll try and do this in the rounds. So until next time, I'm Andrew.
I'm Conrad.
I'm Jeff.
Panther.
I'm Dave.
Well done, all. We'll see you all again soon. Until next
Merry
time.
Christmas.
Yes.
Merry Christmas.
Drink up, rock on.
Drink up, rock on, eat, drink, fuck, be merry. Yes.
Never a better word said.
Thank
See
you,
you
everyone.
guys.
Thank you
Thanks for having us.
Conrad and Dave for their work.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you,
Fuck
everyone.
yeah.
See you next year.
Beautiful.
All the
We'll
best,
see you all
guys.
again very soon. Love
Thank
and
you.
take care until then. Cheers.
Cheers.
Well, I'm back. And we're still recording. This will be interesting. Welcome to the Hard Day Show after midnight. 18 minutes to 1, as a matter of fact. Tonight, on the very late Hard Dave Show, we'll be discussing all types of things. I just wish I knew what I would be discussing.
Hey.
Hey! Hey, did your battery
think we're-
completely die?
Yeah, it did. So I think we're still live, actually. So I'm trying to get everything out of here.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know
I'm
what's
glad I
going
didn't do anything too incriminating in those 5 seconds that I was on my own.
on. We'll see. I'm trying to work out how to do this from my mobile phone. So this is going to be bizarre as fuck. Hang on. Where am I at? God damn it! Don't know how to do this shit. Everyone, stop watching. All right, I'm just gonna hit the end button on this one. So quickly, yeah, I don't know what happened there. I'm gonna hit the end button, mate. So it'll
Okay.
chop us all out. So everyone, bye bye. This is
Bye-bye.
this is why I want to rush out
Stop
of here because
watching whatever I said. Don't listen to it.
oh well, cheers for holding the fort, Dave, and I'll catch up with you shortly. Alrighty, bye all. We'll see you all again soon. What a way to win the year.
Nice. Wouldn't it be
Cheers.
us if it didn't work right?
That's it. Alrighty, guys. See you soon.
Crimson Idol is better than Operation Mindcrime.
Fuck, here we go. That's it. Goodbye.